Okay, what do we all got here now?
There we go.
Showtime?
Why do we need?
So call the meeting to order. Note the presence of a quorum with all commissioners present. I'd invite you to stand. We'll begin with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome guest, staff, visitors present with us here this morning. First item would be approval of the agenda, of which there is one addition, and that would go under consent, item 2.5, entailing the separation agreement.
I'll
Dave,
make a motion,
anything else?
No, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to,
Commissioner moves the agenda as amended. Support?
Support.
Motion supported. Commissioner Sample, discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion's carried. Agenda is approved as amended. Are there any comments, public comment this morning? Either in person or online? Citizens' public comment? Third, last call for citizens' public comment. Hearing none, we'll proceed to the consent agenda as amended. Entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion, Chair.
Commissioner Carney moves the consent agenda. Support. Commissioner LaVisca supports. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion's carried. Consent agenda is hereby adopted. On to Aitkin County HRA Executive Director Teresa Smoody. Welcome, Teresa. You can use the podium or the chair, whichever you'd prefer.
I'll use the podium if that's okay.
Morning and welcome.
Good morning,
Good
Mr.
morning.
Chair. I would also like to introduce to the commissioners our Secretary Treasurer, Jolene Cullum.
Jolene?
She's here with me. I just wanted to give an update of all the wonderful things that the Aitkin County HRA is doing to our properties. I did reach out to all commissioners in an attempt to meet individually. There's so much, that our agency is so complex. There's so much. And I was only able to meet with Commissioner Carney and Commissioner Westerland. It just didn't work out to meet before this meeting. I do extend an invite to everybody to meet with me individually to go through all the complexities of our agency. I am not a public speaker, so I'm shaking like a leaf here.
You'll be fine.
So excuse me if I look at a script. I do want you to know that the Aitkin County HRA's mission is to provide safe, affordable housing and to advance community redevelopment initiatives that revitalize neighborhoods, foster stability, and create long-term opportunities for residents of Aitkin County. We believe in what we do deeply. Since 2020, we continue to focus on managing our public housing properties. That is what we are currently funded for. Our only funding is restricted to public housing and to the properties that we own. We have 145 public housing units and 16 rural development units. With our public housing, we also have 35 Section 8 vouchers.
Teresa, excuse me. Commissioner Sample has a question.
I'm sorry.
You just said that your Section 8 housing, your low-income housing is
Public
what you
housing?
guys are, public housing is what you're funded for.
Correct.
What about creating low-income housing?
With what funds?
But my question is, who requests them funds? I'm asking that because when I read your guys's bylaws or whatever you want to call it, it says for two things. For public housing and for low-income housing.
Correct.
So,
We just applied for a technical assistance grant and received a free technical assistance grant with North Shore Development Company to have them come in and assist us with figuring out what we can do without funding,
what,
I wasn't gonna say this word because I'm not coming here asking for money.
no, I get it.
Typically, a levy is what HRAs get from their counties to help create affordable housing.
But I know there are counties that aren't using levies. And,
We
and
don't-
I'm just
but-
asking, how can we
We-
help you?
We need to come up with programs that we can create, that we can earn administrative funds from. So I applied for a brand-new program for the state of Minnesota. It's called the Bring It Home Program, where we were awarded 27 vouchers to assist. We need to target families first, then it would go to singles, veterans, but we need, households with children is where we need to target with those 27 vouchers. If we lease, every voucher that we lease up, with that, we'll earn an admin fee. So our agency, whatever we can bank that's not used for, wages and office supplies, we can bank, and those would be unrestricted
And believe
funds.
me, I'm not attacking what you're doing. I think what you're doing is great. But I'm just saying is that when I'm reading affordable housing for our veterans and our seniors and our people that work at like Flo's
Correct.
and the pallet factory, if that's part of your mission,
It is.
how do we help get you funding? Is it through the state? Is it through federal dollars?
There
Is
are no
it-
federal dollars available for that. We have applied for every state bit of funding that we,
But Department
Commissioner
of,
Carney?
If I may, real quick, we had this great discussion, and I appreciate your time that you gave to us. Sorry for interrupting your presentation, but I want to stick to this point. We had a great discussion where we were talking about tax forfeit land in the county that we own, that you guys have a nonprofit entity within HRA that and I think this is what Commissioner Sample is alluding to, that if that land was given up for you guys to bring a developer in, it would create housing. That's one avenue how the county could help.
and the Department of Agriculture puts $30 billion in cities under 12,000 people. They have funding for
Department of Agriculture,
the
yes.
Department of Agriculture and the Department of Defense and the Department of Energy. So, I mean, I'm just saying, how can we help you?
at this point, with this the North Shore Development, they did send me an email that I will be sending out, requesting that a commissioner join us in a work group to figure out what we can do.
Absolutely.
I think you were the volunteer for that one.
I don't have the knowledge, personally, I don't have the knowledge to know what we can do without.
Okay, thank you. I mean, I'm not trying to
No,
fluster you,
no,
I'm
and
just trying to.
I'm just trying to, I know that there's more out there, I just don't know what there is. We have been focusing on getting our public housing back in shape because there was a lot of deferred maintenance. And I have applied for, I have received $1.2 million from the state to upgrade our units. That's besides the federal funding. I'm constantly pushing us forward, trying to do more. I want to do more.
Okay.
The funding that we've brought in has brought money to our cities, McGregor, Hill City, and Aitkin. The contractors, local contractors right now are replacing our boilers in all of our apartment buildings. It's a local Lundberg Plumbing and Heating. They're doing an amazing job. That whole project was $1.5 million.
A significant increase, improvement,
Yes,
So-
and it's money brought into our county.
and stays in our county.
Correct,
Well, Teresa,
yes.
why don't you continue with your presentation? And
Sorry about that.
Commissioners, I'd ask, just if you could let her finish the presentation, ask questions at the end.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so, since 2020, we've been awarded a total of 2 million, over 2 million from the Minnesota Housing, publicly owned housing program. We applied for those, they were all competitive funding. In 2020, we received $561,700 to upgrade the fire alarm systems, the fire doors, and install 88 entrances at our Hill Lake Manor in Hill City and the Pioneer Villa in McGregor. In 2024, this is the project that we're doing right now is the upgrading of the boilers. We did get applied for and received 1.247 million to complete those boiler upgrades, thermostats, valves. I know that they have fired up Hill Lake Manor, the boilers, the new boilers, they're working great. Fired up Pioneer Villa, they're working great, and they're gonna fire up Mary Hill Manor on Wednesday.
Nice.
So we're really excited. There hasn't been any hiccups. Again, each of these projects have used local contractors and are bringing valuable investments into Aitkin County and our communities. We were just awarded another POHP grant of $232,000 for the replacement of the roofs in our family housing in McGregor. Yes.
Okay. So I just want to say how much we really appreciate Teresa and the work that she's done with the HRA. I'll be honest, one of the reasons that I joined the HRA board is because I had heard about low occupancy rates and just some other things that I just wanted to be able to be on the board and help support going in the right direction. Teresa had already been hired and she already had it going in the right direction. So, but she wouldn't let me off the board. So, no, it's actually been such a pleasure to work with her and just the passion that she has to help people here in Aitkin County to make sure that they have housing. I had the opportunity to speak with a young man, 19 years old, not in Aitkin, but a neighboring community of about the same size, who had to make was trying to get his life together, didn't grow up well, I'll save you that story, but is going to CLC, is working full-time, and had to make a choice between his rent and his car payment. And he chose his car payment. And not only that, but that young man talked to a property owner about parking his car there because he knows it makes people uncomfortable when they see people sleeping in their cars on the street. And so I would just like to emphasize that we do not yet have all the housing we need here. And that there are still opportunities where we can still assist people to do more. And so I am grateful for Commissioner Sample's excitement for moving things forward. We are hoping for the engagement that Teresa mentioned with a county commissioner for this workforce, because through this technical grant is how we're going to learn how can we do more.
That's right.
That's our goal. How can we do more?
Correct.
Thanks, Jerlyn.
Thank you. I just would also like to extend to all the commissioners, we, at our, to strengthen our cross collaborations with the county. We want to partner with the county. We were created by the county, and we should be partnering with the county on housing initiatives. And at this point, we don't feel like we are involved. And we would like to be involved, and we would like to have a commissioner involved. So at our October 22nd meeting, we are going to be voting on the addition of an 8th board member reserved specifically for a county commissioner. That will be voted on the 22nd to begin, if passed, to begin November 1st. I encourage any commissioner who wants to be on our board to apply to be on the board. And it is open. Our meetings are open the 4th Wednesday of the month at 10 o'clock at our offices at Mary Hill Manor. They're open to the public. I encourage you to come and see what we are doing and the advancements that we're trying to make. Because of our funding the way it is, we focused on upgrading and updating our public housing, and we've done it. We've done so much, too much that I can tell you in this meeting. And I do know that everybody received the PowerPoint that Commissioner Carney received from me, so I encourage you to really take a look at it and see the wonderful things that we are doing.
Awesome.
And just one last point, I had mentioned the vacancy. We are at 100% occupancy
Yes.
nearly every month. And so her team just turns it over quick to make sure that we get housing quickly for those who need it.
Awesome.
Mr. Chair?
Great. Commissioner Westerlund?
I've been on that board since 2009, and then somehow it got switched that a commissioner was going to go off the board. That was a board decision, because we really don't have any control. However, that was wrong, because we do have control. So I did sit on as just a regular
yes.
guy, like all the rest of them, which was great. I do believe that another commissioner would be the best shot, because the more we all know, the more we can work together.
I agree.
So it's very important that you did this, and you have been at 100%. You have dealt with a lot. Oh my gosh, since I've been on that board, I can't believe some of the stuff that goes on that
I think I cried
does
for the
not
first
go
2
on
years.
anymore. Well, and people are happy. I used to get phone calls all the time. I haven't for quite a while. And if I do, it's like, oh, talk to Nancy, blah, blah, blah. But kudos to you guys. You do a great job, and you have a great board.
Yes.
I mean, you have people from Health and Human Service people, and it's just really a good board.
It is.
Ex-principal.
Very
and-
supportive.
Yes, very supportive. So anyway. that's-
Commissioners, any additional comments, questions?
I do. Thank you for what you're doing. I appreciate your time you gave me to meet with you and sit down and go through those things. As you know, I meet at Hill Lake every month. As a matter of fact, this evening I'll be going up there again. The tempo has changed. Thank you very much. And I think we can look forward to great things.
Yes. Thank you.
Teresa and Jolynn, thank you very much. Very informative presentation. Morning, Jim. On to facilities.
Da, da, da.
Jim Bright, Facilities Coordinator. Welcome, Jim.
Good morning.
Morning, Jim.
Well, as you know, over the past 10 months or so, we've had a lot of projects going on. I just wanted to take a few minutes, update you on some of these projects, where we're at, how they're going, and just kind of keep you informed as to where things are at. The roofing project that we had going this summer is complete. There is literally 2 pieces of metal that are 2 feet long a piece that we're waiting for. And so then we're gonna be doing the final walkthrough, do the final punch list, which we've already done the initial punch list. Have not gotten the final numbers on it, but we had very few extras. There was like 14 square feet of insulation that was bad, and we had like 5 sheets of plywood over the entry on HHS that were bad. Otherwise, we had very few extras on the project, so I know the project will come in under what we had budgeted by quite a bit, so that's a good thing. The cooler freezer replacement in jail has been complete for a while. There's been a couple hiccups, just getting temperature set properly, things like that. That's all been taken care of. McGuire Mechanical has been great. We call them, they're right back here. They take care of the issues, not a problem. We had budgeted $80,000 for that project, and with the coolers, the electrical, and we had an unforeseen, when the floors thawed out underneath the freezers, all the tiles started to pop
Nice.
off the floor. So we peeled up the tile, put down new tile, and even with that, we came in about 22,000 under our estimated costs. So that was a good good thing as well. So that one is complete. The chiller boiler project that we did last winter, chiller worked. The new condensers we put in worked great all summer. Boilers worked well the last half of last year when they were installed. So we're feeling good about that. The control side ties into a bigger project with the jail controls. There's a couple things there left to be finished up, but those are in the next week or so. That controls project in jail is starting. We had some hiccups with how the smoke exhaust works on the building. The code that it was initially installed under 25 years ago has changed. So we got into send it off to the state fire marshal. He sent it back to the local inspector, who sent it back to the state fire marshal, who sent it to the local inspector. And we finally got everything resolved, know what we're doing with that. So that project will be starting up late next week or the week after. We will start doing all the controls in jail. So that one's looking good. Long Lake did the LED retrofit. That has been completed. I have not talked to Dave and asked him, what he's seen on the bills, what the difference is, but I know, just past history, we should see a pretty significant savings from there. And then on a much smaller scale, we also did the land department, got that converted over. That still had, in the shop area, still had some of the old 8-foot bulbs in it. Went over to LED, so that'll be a significant savings as well. So that one is completed.
And you're seeing that? The savings in the land department?
Have not yet, because that project just finished up about 3 weeks ago, so I don't know if DJ's gotten a new bill. But yeah, we will. It will be seen. I know that if you remember a year ago, we changed a bunch of lights at the fairgrounds, and that was noticed this summer on the electric bill. Pretty significant savings. Fairgrounds is always a tough one to judge, just because it depends on the events you've got down there and what lights we leave on. And
Yeah.
this summer was a very busy summer down there. Had a lot of weekend events, a lot of stuff going on during the week, so the lights were on more, but we still noticed a savings with it. So
We used to call them lightsabers.
yeah,
Big 8-foot things.
yeah,
Isn't that terrible back then? We didn't know.
yep. So then.
Thought asbestos was good too.
Yeah. Then we get to the HHS project. Just this morning, I talked with the demolition crew that's in there, and they will be wrapping up today. They will have all the walls, ceilings, everything demoed in there. They will be leaving for a short time. Plumbers are gonna be coming in, marking out their trenches for floor cutting, concrete. The Thielens is in there doing ductwork, so they're getting their holes marked out, so then the demo crew will be back. They'll do some shoring under these cuts, and then they'll come back in, do their final cuts, and so demo will be complete. They started framing walls on second floor last week, doing all the exteriors. Electricians are starting their rough-ins. So yeah, things are moving well. We're staying on schedule. We found a few minor things, nothing major, nothing that's gonna go outside of what we have set aside for contingencies. One of the biggest things that we found is when they built the original building, the interior walls, they put down all of the tracking for the metal studs, and then they poured gypcrete up to the walls instead of pouring under the walls. So when you take all that out, now you've got gaps that go anywhere from a 1/2 inch to 2 inches, because of course the gypcrete didn't flow evenly from office to office. So that's one thing we're dealing with right now is they're filling those in and feathering out some of the unevenness, but that's not a huge huge issue. So just something that has to be taken care of so we can get everything framed up, so.
Commissioner Westerden?
So when I drive by, I notice that the door is always left open, the front door there. Is that kind of a liability thing, or is it always open?
Just during the day.
Well, that's what I mean, but
Yep.
somebody could just walk in.
Yeah, yep, they could, but they're wheeling.
In and out
They're
all the time.
wheeling stuff out nonstop, filling all the dumpsters you see out there. So,
I do.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
it's just like, I don't want to get somebody to hurt or.
yeah, yep, nope, and we still get 2 to 3 people a day that come there looking for HHS, but we've got the sign out front there. And all the construction workers have been fantastic.
Tape and,
Yep, they just, yep, the address is right here on this board, and they know the routine, how to send them up there, so.
good.
I think most of the construction workers could find the VFW on their own. They've heard me explain it enough times. They know where it's at, and they're not even from town, so.
Commissioner Sample?
Are we finding any asbestos that we didn't know about, Jim?
No, we had,
Just
a
concrete.
year ago, I had a company go through and test everything ahead of time. And there was some glue that was holding like maybe 4 tiles to the concrete ceiling, and there was asbestos in the adhesive. So that was removed. We did that last winter.
I mean, I was just curious, when you say you're finding things that
Yep.
wasn't filled, was there asbestos put in there?
No, we had done the testing well in advance so that because that is one thing that in older buildings you do find, and so we wanted to be on top of that. So, we had I think we sent in 38 samples, and that was the only thing that came back, testing positive, so. Yep, that was one thing that we were on top of ahead of time to make sure that we had it taken care of, so. And for the construction workers to know that they're going into a building that's been tested, so. Yeah. So again, if any of the commissioners would like to take a tour after the meeting today, at any time, just get a hold of me and I'd be happy to walk through with you, let you look at it. The look has changed drastically, with everything out of there, so.
It looks so wide open.
It is very wide open, yeah, so, yep, no, it looks good, so. Yeah.
Commissioners, other comments, questions? Great update, Jim. Thank you.
All right, thank you, and of course, if you ever have any questions about any of the facility stuff, just get a hold of me, let me know.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
Cool.
On to public health. Have Hannah. Welcome, Hannah. And Mark. I just about said Hannah Colby here, but it's Savinsky.
I have a new last name, yes. Savinsky.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Hannah.
Awesome.
Trying to get used to that in that limbo land where I'm like, I gotta use my maiden name still to sign here, but use a married name, so can't believe all the places you gotta change it, so,
I know.
yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Don't forget your passport.
I know, yeah, that's the biggest thing.
Do it while you can.
Welcome, Mark.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. Thank you, Hannah, for letting me join you here this morning.
All right, thank you for having us do this presentation. It is titled Public Health and Our Economic Impact. As you can see, I'm co-presenting with Mark Jeffers, and we want to highlight how our 2 units are working collaboratively and showing how we can impact our local economy. Are you missing a slide?
Scroll down.
There we go.
There you are. So again, I just wanted to thank Hannah and the public health team for allowing me to help present with them. As you know, public health and the different operations that they do does have a direct and indirect economic development impact or economic impact in our area. Some of the things that you're seeing, obviously lower healthcare costs, more money stays local when that happens, and public health, I've learned, is all about for the future, right? Taking care of people for the future is going to create some savings in the end. Lower healthcare costs equal more money, again, staying local. When people are healthier, they need less medical care. And the part that economic development gets into is the workforce. When you have a healthy workforce, those workers go to work regularly, they actually show up for work, and we have a more stable work environment as we go. So some of the things that economic development sees as a partner in health, in public health. How's that sound?
Sounds great.
All right.
We can advance to the next slide.
Who's running the show?
Yeah. Okay, so public health is not just about health. We know that health is shaped by where we live, learn, work, and play. It not just happens in the clinic and the hospital. We know it's outside of the clinic and hospital as well. And we complement each other, not just the healthcare working on it, but we're also working on it with them in that community setting. Public health investments strengthen communities in ways far beyond healthcare. They build stronger workforces, as you just heard from Mark Jeffers, vibrant communities, and resilient local food systems. And how we get into that, so we can first look at that stronger workforce. I know Mark touched base on a little bit, so I'll just not go too far in details with that. But healthy employees are more productive, they're reliable, and they're engaged. We know they have fewer sick days, and chronic disease burdens reduce costs for employers. We also know wellness programs and preventative care support long-term workforce stability. If we look at the category of attractive communities, we know that if we work towards safe neighborhoods, access to parks, and clean environments, they make towns more appealing to residents and businesses. We also know communities that prioritize health attract families, professionals, and potentially investors. And our public health efforts, such as examples of safe walking and biking options, make communities healthier and more vibrant. If we focus on stronger local food systems, and you'll kind of hear examples as we get further into the presentation, we know that supporting local agriculture and farmers markets improves access to fresh, nutritious food. Healthy food systems fuel both economic growth and community well-being, and nutrition programs and partnerships connect residents with affordable, locally grown foods. So I won't go into much details because I feel like everybody's heard of the Statewide Health Improvement Partnership. And so if there's any questions, let me know what it is at the end of the presentation. But I feel like you guys have a pretty good understanding about that. Why the SHIP program matters is that funds are spent here locally, and you guys will see that here shortly. We're supporting businesses, contractors, farmers, and community organizations. With how that works locally is we're building cross-sector partnerships with schools, cities, healthcare, and community groups. And we do have a long-term payoff. Infrastructure projects like community gardens, parks, and trails keep attracting users year after year, multiplying the original investment.
And Hannah, it's good to note how hard we fight for the SHIP money every year and how competitive it is. So we have to continue to keep Hannah and keep everybody else that's involved in SHIP, because it's been great for Aitkin. Well, for the CHB too, for the Community Health Board.
Along that line, did I hear correctly that SHIP funding has been restored?
Yes, yep. It was our budget year in this previous legislation session, and so we were up for review, and from my understanding, funding remained the same. It didn't decrease or it didn't increase either.
That's great news.
Just said it didn't decrease.
Till the
It's
next
great.
time. We just have to
Yeah.
keep fighting for it.
Yep, exactly.
Keep doing good work.
Okay, so trying to look at statistics, and we know it's often difficult in real time to find statistics that is current in the public health field. But according to a well-known 2008 report from Trust for America's Health, investing $10 per person annually in proven community-based prevention programs was projected to yield a return of about $5.60 for $1 spent within 5 years.
Excuse me.
While this study is a bit dated, the key takeaway remains relevant. We still know that prevention pays off, both in health outcomes and economic savings. So just to break this down a little bit of what this truly means here locally, that means if we spend money today on things like healthier food access, physical activity, or tobacco prevention, we avoid much higher costs tomorrow or even down the road from treating chronic disease. Think about what that can mean for our community. Fewer emergency room visits, fewer prescriptions, less time off of work, and more money is staying here instead of paying medical bills. They are able to spend it elsewhere. All right, so looking at this slide, it highlights how enhancing local infrastructure can work in communities. Now, you can see there's a lot of examples from Aitkin, but this can be replicated across our county. And that can be things like parks, trails, and recreational facilities that supports not just health, but our local economy. We're seeing this in action with projects like the Aitkin City Park Concept Map. You may have seen us out in the community, engaging the community. We're at the Aitkin County Fair doing some activities to gauge those that live here about what they like to see down in that park. And then with grant funding, we were able to contract, they were called Confluence, that was years ago. And they developed that concept map. And what I really loved about that project is we know that everybody has great ideas. We don't have a big space here down in the city park. So we were able to look at the future and what is available for space that we can do for projects and what our community would like to invest in. So we did that project, and hopefully down the road, we can make that happen once funding comes available. And then we did the Aitkin Recreational Trails Wayfinding signage project. We partnered with the Aitkin City Park. We were able to find funding to do the pickleball nets and signage down there inside the hockey rink and outside that facility. And then with SHIP, we work on partnerships, and we do sit on the Aitkin City or Park Committee, and so we were supporting in conversations and helping where we can with that community field house. So those are projects that were happening down, or just examples in the area of how infrastructure can support both an economic vitality. And I'll pass it on to Mark, and he'll talk more about that economic.
Thanks. When you think about economic impact, right, when you build parks, when you make sure that they're live and okay, that's bringing in people. And bringing in people will bring in people to the restaurants. I think Commissioner Weedle, you had commented before the Aitkin Farmers Market, which we'll talk about here in a bit, always drawing traffic to the south end of town every week. That's the reality, is that people are brought in. That's increasing the dollars that they spend in our market. And then when you have investments on parks, it also boosts property values. So that adds to your tax base in the long run. A couple of things to keep in mind from an economic development committee. We supported a couple of those park restorations in Hill City and also the Shamrock Township through our revitalization grants. So obviously we, as economic development, sees the importance of these programs and to continue them.
So just as Mark kind of mentioned, investing in parks, trails, and recreational facilities and infrastructure isn't just about enhancing public spaces. It's a strategic move that drives local economic growth. Investing in parks, trails, and recreation infrastructure is more than a quality of life enhancement. It's a catalyst for local prosperity. These spaces draw visitors, boost small businesses, and make communities more attractive places to live and work. Every dollar spent on development can yield $3 to $5 in return through increased tourism, higher property values, and reduced healthcare costs. In other words, parks and trails don't just connect places, they connect people to opportunity, strengthen local economies, and build a foundation for healthier and more vibrant communities. And the picture that you see with the sidewalk, we know trails and sidewalks aren't just amenities, they're smart investments. Homes near trails sell up to 6% more, strengthening local tax bases and creating funds for future community improvements. So on this slide, hot off the press, and I may have mentioned that we are working towards this, but there is a project called Storywalk. Have you guys heard of Storywalk across the nation and maybe across the states? So we, with SHIP funding, we had a unique partnership here. So we partnered with the city of Aitkin, and they agreed to do the installation of the project. And then we also partnered with Aitkin Friends of the Library with sustainability with the project. And so that was just installed last week in the bigger loop of just within the Aitkin City Park. And Mandy from the Aitkin Library, and she works with the Aitkin Friends of the Library, is gonna get storybooks, and we'll rotate them throughout the year. And so the Friends of the Library agreed to sustain that, where they'll oversee what books goes in there and the sustainability and where the books would be housed. And so the health impact with this specific project is that it promotes early literacy, which is linked to long-term education and economic successes. And we're hoping this increases the park use. We can really target a different population, the parents, the children, because they're there for the playground, but maybe they'll stay longer because they might walk, and that's that active living, active recreation side of things, part of health, and go and read the story pages, encouraging that daily physical activity.
And the economic impact is exactly what we talked about before. More people coming into the community, more people coming into those areas. And it does strengthen the library's relationship with the community if you can do those kind of things. I'm looking at you because you're the library guy, Commissioner. Sorry about that.
Commissioner
But it really
Sample?
does.
What about Hill City? What about McGregor? What about Tamarack? All I hear is Aitkin. What about the rest of the county?
These can be replicated across the county. We started with Aitkin because
Can be, are they in the plans?
we can make them part of the plans. We just need to know the right people where we can connect with, and that is our intentions, where we can continue to connect with the folks in Hill City. If there's, maybe we can partnership with the East Central Library branch, because that's that library that we're partnering with. Maybe we can share books and rotate it up there. We can find funding, because there is a trail up in Hill City. In other areas like McGregor, there could be a spot we can identify in, and working with those key champions in those communities where we can replicate these projects. It doesn't just have to be here. The idea is to we started here, but to move these same projects in other communities as well.
Yeah, Commissioner, what I've learned from Hannah and from Aaron is that we have the opportunity to be able to do that. We have the willingness and the outreach. We also have to have that interest from the other side as well. So hopefully we can get those conversations rolling.
Just on the outside, I know Commissioner Kearney hears this as much as I do. Everything goes to Aitkin. Nothing comes our way. We're forgotten about. And my thing is, it's time for them to put up.
And Mark, as we talked earlier, I
Completely agree.
I believe this is part of the purpose of your presentation here today, is to evoke more interest in the outlying cities.
Absolutely, yeah. And there is an economic impact that we have in our group. We've supported, you've been part of that, Commissioner, when we did Hill City, when we're supporting even down into Shamrock Township. We're also, and the cool part of this whole presentation is coming up with what the Aitkin Farm Trail and Aitkin Eats programs can do, that I think is a huge, unique opportunity for the entire community, and you'll see that here in a second. But
I mean, with Angie's Acres and everything else coming out in
Yep.
Commissioner Kearney's area
Yep,
and our stuff,
it's a huge opportunity for
Absolutely.
agriculture and growth in our restaurants and businesses.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, we can move to the next
Thank you.
slide. Yes. So this slide we want to point out, so within the statewide health improvement partnership, not always, but sometimes we do have funding with what we call community partner awards, and that's where we want to give our money back to the local communities and our partners to help them do the work that we're partnering on with them and the intentions that they like to do, where we work, live, and play. And so just looking back in the last 3 years with community partner awards, and because our SHIP program is a little wonky with the time frame, so we go from 2022, it starts in November and ends in October 2023. We given funding to our communities, and the money that we gave was $8,308.44. And then underneath that dollar amount, you can see where those fundings were given based on interest, and how this is handed out to the communities or given out in the communities. It is similar to other RFPs that you hear from different committees, similar to Mark's Naturally Better Committee. There is an RFP process. We get the word out. We mention it to committee partners. We have a committee that's established. It's a points awarded system, and then we review them, and then we notify the applications if they were selected or not. We do have regulations that we have to meet and requirements based on SHIP. There's allowable expenses and non-allowable expenses, and so that also determines what we can give out to our communities and their projects. So Aitkin County Care was one, Aitkin School District, Aitkin Farmers Market Hub, the Terrace Project, City of Aitkin, Aitkin Farmers Market, and First Lutheran Church all applied for RFPs. They were pretty much all of the RFPs that came in, so everybody was awarded and selected for that funding. In 2023, we had enough funding to support $12,073 or $73.77. And the RFPs that came in that year, we were able to do the Aitkin County Mother and Infant Rest Area tent. You may have seen that this summer at the Aitkin County Fair. That was for a second location. We put it over by the horse barn. We still have that RV that we partner with Roth RV to do as a primary, another location for that. And then some signage for our Aitkin County schools. So that was all school districts, McGregor, Hill City, and Aitkin, supporting that Aitkin Farmers Market Hub, and you'll hear that story here shortly in the city of Aitkin. Currently, in this year, we were able to give out $13,850.29. And Commissioner Sample, I remember the last time I was here, we heard about the food shelf was going to be closing and put a call out, like, what do we do? So I'm excited to say that we were able, thanks to Lynn Jacobs, she heard the call and she stepped up. And we did give the McGregor area food shelf about $7,850.29 to support the work that they did to transform it into a super shelf. And they were certified a couple weeks, and they're doing amazing things.
Yes, they were.
And then also Aitkin First Lutheran Church, that went to their super shelf. They're in need of another freezer, which is great to hear that they're seeing that demand. They're seeing increased numbers, and so we were able to support them. And then that Story Rock project, we gave $4,500 for that.
Commissioner Carney?
Yeah, are you working with Palisades Food Shelf also?
Yes, with Barb Packer. I
okay.
did approach Barb to see if she was interested with the food shelf. Their layout is a little unique just
Yeah.
because it's within church.
Yeah.
So she was communicating with her committee, and so
Okay.
we are having communications and see if we can do some fashion of
And-
a super shelf.
Do you, in Hill City, do you have connection with Hill City? Are they doing anything or?
Yeah, I have a connection. She just reached out to me. Last name's Harvey, right?
Yeah, I believe so. They do it out of a church also.
Right.
But the bad thing about them is at the church, they do it at that location, the people have to go downstairs.
Right.
And a lot of the elders are not going to it or participating with it because they can't get downstairs. They have nobody that they can go get the food for them. I know in Palisade, we offer services to where we'll even pick the food up for people and take it to their homes if it's available. I don't know, that's something I have to look into.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and if you want to connect me with Hill City, I'm more than happy to have a conversation and see what
Yeah,
we can do
I
for
made a note
partnership.
here. If they're
Perfect.
not contacting you, I'll make it a point to get a hold of the
Okay.
mayors of both of those cities and tell them to get on board with your agency.
Commissioner LaVisca?
Yeah, just regarding food shelves, have you reached out to the McGrath area at all?
That, there is no current food shelf in
They did close
McGrath that I
down.
know of.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll double check with that
Okay.
and see if they are wanting to get one
Right.
up and going again, or
Yeah.
have somebody reach out down there.
Yep, because what I did with McGregor Food Shelf, I was able to connect them with the food bank out of Duluth and Grand Rapids to get them the resources. There's also the TFAT program that helps the food shelves. So there is a lot of support for food shelves if they want to start up, and of course, public health is here to help them along the way too.
I'll reach
so.
out to them down there.
Perfect.
Thanks.
That sounds good.
And Commissioner Westerlund?
Well, and I think that a lot of your folks probably go to Kennebec County or,
Right.
Yeah,
you know, they,
there's a lot of county
Garrison,
lines on
I know people in my area go to Garrison or they'll go to Isle or,
Right.
because it's
Sandstone
just-
and McGrath.
Right.
Yeah.
it's just as far, so,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a sustainability aspect too. in
yeah,
those areas.
yeah.
It takes a lot of volunteer work
Yep.
and
It
trying to get
does.
those volunteers to keep food shelves up and running and operational.
Yep.
All right, the
It's
next
exciting.
slide. This slide, I just want to mention that as a common theme, SHIP program is all about partnerships. That's why it's built into the name. And we're turning these collaborations into impact, bringing funding home, boosting health and recreation, and strengthening our local economy and community connections. You guys who were here, and when I think I presented, probably back in 2022 or 2023. I was with Lynn Jacobs, and we did a presentation on the BRIC grant that was building resilient, inclusive communities that we received, and from MDH in turn was a federal grant. And that total grant was $107,418 that was able to come here to Aitkin County. And that grant supported the community garden in Hill City, the Aitkin City Park with the pickleball nets, and then the development of that park concept map, the Terrace project in downtown. We were focusing on a local food sign and the social connection aspect piece, and then the Super South project in Aitkin. Recently, because of the partnerships, we were able to receive the GusNIP grant, which is Gus Schumacher Nutrition Incentive Program is what that stands for, and that was a 3-year grant that went from September 22 to March 2026, and that was received to Riverwood Healthcare Center, and this was with the Food Rx project that you probably heard about, and expanding access to fresh, healthy food through healthcare. And in turn, this went directly back to our farmers and supporting our local economy because Riverwood Healthcare Center was purchasing through the Aitkin Farmers Market Hub. So in that time frame, with partnerships being developed and MDH seeing the work that we're doing and them tapping into federal dollars and picking us, we were able to bring $285,768 to our communities, or to our organizations, to help our communities do work.
And just for clarification, SHIP again stands for what?
State Health Improvement.
The Statewide Health Improvement Partnership.
Okay.
Yep. Good question. So touching base on the local agriculture piece of this, I don't know if you've seen this image down at the terrace. And so that was part of that BRIC grant. We wanted to have people really know about what does the local food system look like in Aitkin. It does illustrate the city of Aitkin just because it was for the terrace project. That's why you kind of see it. If you're questioning, I see Aitkin School District and stuff like that. It's because it's housed in the city of Aitkin, and that's how we were able to get some funding with other contributors that were helping with this project and the signage. And so this picture illustrates the journey of local food through different channels, such as markets, farmers selling directly to residents, businesses, restaurants are sourcing locally, facilities like hospital, schools, and long-term care facilities are receiving local produce. And it highlights that choosing local grown food returns 3 times more to the local economy compared to food purchase from outside the area. And this sign is located down in Aitkin at the Terrace Project, and I'll hand it over to Mark, and he'll talk more about the economic standpoints.
So this is a thing, and this is happening, and people are really interested in local food grown here, served here, the whole farm to table, all of that stuff is working. Small farmers gain access to larger, more reliable markets through this. They can sell more of the stuff downtown when they do it. You know, keeping the dollars circulating into Aitkin County, and it's good for our agriculture. It's good for agritourism, which is another thing on the Aitkin Farm Trail. I keep jumping to the next slide. Sorry about that. But these are things that really do impact our communities and can create a indirect or direct economic impact for our community. So let
Mark,
you
I have
do
a
the
question for you.
next slide.
So what kind of permitting do you need? I mean, and a lot of farmers don't know this. The permitting to supply to the farmer's market. Isn't there some kind of a, to be
I
safe?
point to the expert.
Oh, okay.
What I know is that to supply to the farmer's market, you need to have a cottage food goods license if you're selling jellies, jams, that kind of thing. If you're selling to the hub and want to get into like wholesale with the school districts, the hospitals, you do have to make sure you're, specifically to the meats, have to be USDA inspected or Minnesota Equal To. They're getting processed at those facilities to meet inspections. But if a farmer is new to the area, they can just simply come to the farmer's market or get a hold of the managers and sell their food. I don't think you need, outside of the cottage foods, that's the only license you really need.
Because
Produce,
people don't know that.
right, yeah.
I knew there's other license, I know for meat,
Yeah.
but
There is good practice. I think it's called good, not good food,
yeah,
good.
organic, you know.
Yeah,
No
not at
sprayers,
the
no.
tip of my tongue. I know what I want to say, but there's a certain practice. Basically, what the words for this practice is that making sure you're following hand hygiene when you're going into the garden, making sure that you're checking your shoes, that there isn't any feces on the bottom from animals, wildlife, that kind of thing, and you're tracking that into your garden. Making sure you're having a fence around your garden, making sure you're keeping wildlife out so they're not doing the same thing within your garden. So there is some good practices that it's not a requirement, but the farmers market board really wants that to be followed. So they are having good food safety when they're selling these
And
products
it's not
at the farmers
expensive.
market.
It's
Right,
just- Yeah,
yeah.
and is that on the website for the,
At the Fine Food Aitkin
Yeah.
County website. You know, it's not, but that's not a bad idea.
yeah, that's really
Yeah.
a good idea. I didn't think I saw it on there, but it's been a
Right.
while since I've been on it. but-
Maybe on the local food page, like if
Yeah,
people are new
yeah.
and want to start farming, how do
Cause
they get started?
there's a lot of people that have leftover, I mean, stuff that I have lots of it, but my daughter thinks she can can it all, but.
Okay, so I think we're ready to go on to the next slide, and we just have a few left here. So Mark already had mentioned a little bit about boosting the agritourism and visitor spending. So I presented on the Fine Food Aitkin County website, and Kelly Rajala, she is a community shaker in the local food world. She came to myself and Mark Jeffers, and she already had the Aitkin Farm Trail up and running 1.0, but she wanted to do a 2.0. And so she came to us to see if she can get the Aitkin Farm Trail revamped and designed and making sure all the farm stands are relevant and current, updated, and then also like where can this be housed. So I worked with her. We updated the Fine Food Aitkin County website. We now have a local foods page that features the Aitkin Farm Trail, and I'll let Mark talk a little bit more on that.
Yeah, I think for the Economic Development Committee, you'll recall that we did support this through our business development recreation grants. Aitkin Farm Trail, identifying that, I've told the story already of how I think that's part of our unique story here in Aitkin County. Anyone can do it, but we actually are in Aitkin County, and I think that that message needs to continue to get out.
And what I can share, out of the Northeast, who's doing this very well, not a lot of people are able to do this, but Lake County and St. Louis County are able to do this well, but everywhere else they struggle because they don't have a lot of farms and farmers who can do this work. And we're very fortunate that we do have big or smaller farms that are able to put out a lot of produce for how small they are. And we're able to have an Aitkin Farm Trail, and a lot of people are envious of this work and wish they can have this in their communities as well, because they're seeing the benefits. And just to mention, there is that Aitkin Eats program that also Kelly Rajala, a community member from Clear Lake Gardens, I didn't mention where she was from previously. And this is that farm to table initiative. And so they purchased from the Aitkin Farmers Market Hub. As you can see on this slide, there are some participating restaurants that are buying from the hub to get these seasonal highlighted foods into their menu. And then the restaurants that are participating, they get these postcards featuring herbs and information and about the Aitkin Eats program that kind of sits on their tabletop, from my understanding. And I'll see if Mark has anything to add from that.
Well, this is another one that we did support for economic development through the committee, the Business Development Recreation Grant. And you had mentioned Commissioner Angie's Acres before. If you haven't had a chance to go see what's going on out there, it's amazing. I spent the morning with him a couple of Fridays ago. He's got really cool plans of what can be done, and it's all about feeding the community, right? He's got a premium beef that he wants to feed the community at a reasonable price. In order to do that, it has to happen through things like this. Like, you can go to Block North on Friday night and get one of his steaks on the Flatiron Steak. That's that local community, rural thing that really tells our story and really sets us apart. And it's inch by inch with those things. It's not gonna be a Costco type market, but it's inch by inch, and it really puts that unique activation out there for us.
And I'm glad you brought that up. Angie's Acres is an excellent example of a collaboration for food, dietary, health, and foremost, economic development. You look what they're doing there. They're becoming a national mecca, distribution center for that high-quality meat.
Yep.
And the investment they're making in Palisade,
Absolutely.
it's just a very good classic example of what can be done locally.
Yep, inch by inch by inch, and that's an amazing story. Thank you for that.
I think one of the main players in that too, Mark, is that getting all the information out there and getting the community on board. In our small counties, or cities and communities, sometimes there's pushback, they're afraid of change. But in Palisade, we use the tactic and method to get the information out, and thank you for doing that. And it's been very receptive. I mean, people are going, oh, this isn't a big ugly monster coming in, this is what it's gonna do, and it's all beneficial.
He's actually making a rescue.
Absolutely.
Yep, correct.
All right, just a few more slides. How are we doing on time?
You're fine.
Oh, good. Okay. So we've been talking a lot about the Aitkin Farmers Market and the economic impact. And this Aitkin Farmers Market hub has been really beneficial to our communities. Before the hub came in, I was kind of that liaison for the farmers to get into the restaurants, into healthcare, and into our schools with the Farm to School program. And the hub in Aitkin is one out of 6 or 7 across the state that is piloting, and they've been piloting for quite a while, that this is truly really needed, because what they do is that the hub manager works with multiple farmers, and then they aggregate, right? So the hub manager talks to farmer A, B, C, D, and E, because they want to sell to the schools, but the schools need a bigger order for all these peppers, but they're only able to grow 2 pounds, right? And they just don't have the capacity to vamp up right now, or to ramp up to produce more. And so that's what the hub does, and it makes it really efficient. And then same thing on the other side with healthcare, the schools, they will, but necessarily it's not efficient to work with farmer A, B, C, and D, and E, versus they directly work with the hub. They pay one person versus paying 5 different people. Exactly, yeah. So the hub has been super beneficial, and just looking at the past year, $32,341.74 was spent on local produce. If we just specifically look at the farmers' earnings, that's $26,070.43 was spent. So funds spent on fresh local produce circulate in the community, strengthening locally businesses, supporting jobs, and encouraging reinvestment. And the hub really exemplifies how community-supported agriculture can drive both economic and that nutritional impact.
Sure.
So the last thing just to mention is that we know businesses and families choose where to locate based on quality life. It's really about positioning for growth. And so what we're doing in public health and partnering with economic development and how it kind of collaborates and works side by side with one another, that projects that we've done is working towards walkable downtowns with the Aitkin demonstration project, kind of seeing how can we make the city of Aitkin more walkable and bikeable. And again, that's stuff we can do in other communities as well, access to fresh food. And then we partnered with the Hill City Community Garden, and we know Hill City also sees this because they updated their playground equipment up there, because they know that's important for them as well. Anything you want to add there,
No,
Mark?
I think you're perfect on that one.
And we'll just close that public health and naturally better with Aitkin County are vital catalyst for our local economy.
I did.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, how much money did he pay you to say that, young lady?
Not a dime.
Come on.
Not a dime.
That was smooth, that was smooth.
That was smooth. He had to pay
I
you to
just
say
slipped it
that.
in there. That was great.
Slipped it in. I just want to say real quick to thank you to Hannah for allowing me to be part of this. I think you guys know the economic impact that those projects and those things that public health is doing, all of those operations, it brings to our community. And it's important that we recognize that what comes out of there is feeding our community, and it is adding to our economic base. So thank you for that, and thanks for letting me be a part of your presentation today.
And if I may, Mr. Chair?
Yes,
I'd
sir.
just like to challenge you guys not to keep it just an Aitkin. McGregor, Hill City, Waller, Tamarack. You know,
Don't forget Geezy.
Yeah,
you know, but I mean, I'm just saying
Yes.
that just don't keep it all right here.
Commissioner LaVisca?
We set the operation up as the outreach that public health has is able to go everywhere. We also need partners, so here's the call to anyone from those areas.
Yep.
Reach out, because we're more than
Making
willing
those
to
phone
help
calls.
with those
And it doesn't
things.
always cost money,
No,
time.
Commissioner LaVisca?
Yeah, just one of the hurdles as far as reaching out countywide, which I know, Mark, you've been really adamant about doing,
Excellent
reaching
about.
around. And I know public health is also doing the same kind of things with food programs, but a big hurdle that we have is getting the information out there. Cause the information's there. Everybody wants information, nobody wants to go find the information.
Yeah.
That's the hurdle we have to
Just wanna
overcome.
cry about it.
Yeah.
Right, they wanna say, the information's not there. Well, it
can't
is, you have
find
to
it.
go get it. So like Mark was saying, you need the reach out, you need the willingness from these other communities to be
Right.
involved in the process.
Yep, and public health, we're trying to be at committees where they're meeting, like the Aitkin Park Committee, you know, all the school wellness committees. And if you have connections for public health to, if you know a committee is meeting and it lines and fits, we're more than happy to go and attend those. We just need to know about them too, so we struggle with knowing where that's happening and like what you said, Commissioner Lewis.
One more thing, maybe I'll hook up, I have a meeting I'm doing, it will be the first Wednesday, I believe, in November. So maybe I'll connect with you and Mark and see, maybe you guys can get to that with us. It's a seniors club meeting.
Yeah,
That might be real good information for them, so I'll reach out with you guys.
sounds good.
And if I may just interject something, all too often, we hear these presentations and everybody's hyped up and wow, this is great, health-wise, economic development-wise. But we fail to ask the question, where do we go from here?
Sure.
And I guess I, for one, would like to see a game plan, maybe a follow-up from your presentation today, that based on your presentation, based on the discussion, commissioner input, where are we going from here?
very good.
Follow-up is all too often neglected.
Correct.
Well, and Mr. Chair, I'll agree with that. And, you know, county commissioners, we work for the people. We sit here, we have all these great plans and these great committees, and we don't follow up on them. And we come here, we say, oh my God, this is great. And then we just go about our business. We're the ones, if we're doing our jobs and earning our money, that are connected with the people. We should be putting people with you guys as a follow-up to what Commissioner Weedle said. We just shouldn't just come sit here and hear this, and then it goes away.
Yep.
So challenge us to do what we get paid to do.
So at some juncture in time,
I like it.
we'll
lot
see
of-
you back
A
here.
lot of it's online.
back here
Aitkin
soon.
Eats, I mean, that's a great website. You will never find a better website than the Aitkin Eats
And we're
website.
doing our best to market it. We have
Absolutely.
signage, we're gonna get signage at Palisade
Yep.
Food Shelf,
Yep.
Hill City Food Shelf, and our grocery stores.
On the website for the county, on the, maybe some of these cities want to put it on their website. I mean, it's
Right.
very important.
Yep, it's linked on
Podcasts,
Riverwoods.
Yep,
newsletters,
Riverwoods, yep.
We got it all.
And since you're here, Mark,
Yes.
excellent job, excellent presentation on economic development to the AMC,
Oh, well, thank you.
through AMC.
Yes.
There has been a lot of positive feedback.
Good.
And you
Good,
put a
good.
feather in the cap of Aiken County.
Yep.
So great job, Mark,
All
again.
about telling our story. Thank
And
you
you'll be
for
at the
that.
annual conference again, right, doing a presentation?
Yes, we got two
seminar.
workshops scheduled
Yep,
for
so-
those, so.
Good.
I'm sure we look forward to sitting there and making you nervous in the front row.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I think you can make them nervous. Well, Mark and Hannah, especially, thanks very much. Excellent presentation.
Thanks,
And,
Hannah.
Thank you
we'll
for your time.
be anxious to hear a follow-up.
Yes, we called.
Sounds good.
Would you like to take a five?
Yes. 5-5?
Take a 5-minute recess.
Andrew and.
She do it hard.
Just, right.
Showtime?
Showtime.
We'll reconvene, call the meeting back to order. Next item up on the agenda is County Engineer, Mr. John Welly. Welcome, John.
John?
We should have the 2 slides.
Yes. Do you want me to do the,
You're gonna do the
this one?
Okay, I'll be up here then if you're gonna do the computer.
The clicker should work.
Oh, okay. Well, good morning, thank you. Just a single item that I have on the agenda this morning, but it's a fairly lengthy one, talking about our update to our 5-year road construction improvement program. You have the handout in your packet. That's actually a more comprehensive handout. What you'll see up on the slide here is just pieces of what you have in your handout. So I'll try to go through it quickly here, and if you have any questions as I'm going through, just please interrupt and feel free to ask questions anytime. So a lot of this will look familiar. It's basically the same process that we use every year through the budget process to update our 5-year road improvement program. Just a reminder that this program is only addressing our county road system. Now, you know that we do get involved with a lot of projects with townships and cities, with bridge projects, trail projects. Those are not part of this planning process. They have their own process to go through to get funding and then project development and ultimately construction. So this is only our county road system. So the first slide that's up there, again, as in other years, we've got 5 categories of improvements that we do. You can read them there. Highway Safety Improvement Program is based on our highway safety plan that I'll talk about in a bit. Bridge replacements, pavement, resurfacing, and shoulder widening is the third. And then a couple of categories for gravel road improvements, improving them to paved roads or improving them to gravel roads. So those are kind of the 5 categories of improvements that we're looking at. So now we'll talk a little bit about those 5 categories, just try to go through them quickly. First, our Highway Safety Improvement Program. This is a federal program that provides 90% federal funding for system-wide safety improvements. We've utilized 4 strategies through this program on our system: rural intersection lighting, chevron signing improvements, enhanced pavement markings, and then intersection pavement markings. For the most part, 3 of these categories we have built out on our system, and now it's just a matter of maintaining them. The third category that's listed there, enhanced pavement markings, you can see there that 131 miles are in our plan. We've got 104 miles done, but this 5-year program completes that 131 miles, so we will also be pretty much complete on that item of our safety improvement program. Talk a little bit about the bridge category. 74 bridges is what we have on our county road system. 26 of those are span bridges, 48 of them are culvert bridges. We actually, through our annual safety inspection program that's required by the state and federal government, we inspect 120 bridges. The balance, the 46 balanced is township and city bridges that we also have statutory responsibility to inspect. So all 120 of those bridges on township, city, and county roads get inspected on either an annual, semi-annual, or 4-year basis. Those inspections largely form the basis of our program to replace bridges. You can see there the column labeled LPI. After we submit all of our inspection data, we get a rating, an LPI rating, which is basically a condition rating. The lower the rating, the worse condition the bridge. So this worksheet is sorted by that LPI. The worst condition bridge is on the top, and you can see we've got 3 highlighted bridges there that are in the 5-year program. Those are the ones that are going to be replaced through this program. We don't just go by the LPI. There's other factors that go into it as well, just general condition, material, that sort of thing. just a quick graph showing our age distribution of our 74 bridges. You can see we've got two that are back there in the 1955 to 1960 category. Those will be replaced next year. We're actually advertising a contract for them right now. Once those are replaced, our oldest bridge will be a 1970 bridge, and that one we're all very familiar with. It's the one over the Mississippi River just north of Aitkin. That will be our oldest bridge next year after the two on County Road 2 get replaced. Our oldest, but not our worst condition. We'll be replacing other bridges before that one. Hopefully that one won't be replaced for quite some time. But you can see the age distribution here. It's just a planning tool to try to keep our distribution fairly level. We don't want to have a bunch of bridges being replaced at one time. It makes it tougher in the future to replace those bridges. So we do try to spread them out. Getting into the pavements, so your handout, your handout shows all 279 miles of our pavements, the year that they were built, some of the pavement quality data. You can ignore my column here. I see that I've failed to update the data on my screen, but you've got the most current data with the 2023 road quality index data. Again, we every other year get pavement data from MnDOT that rates our pavements. We use that data as well as just general condition to program resurfacing projects. We've got a total of just over 71 miles of our total 280 miles of pavements that are in our 5-year program to be resurfaced. Some of those projects will simply be a thin mill and overlay resurfacing. That's our most common, milling off an inch and a half, paving back 2.5. Some of them will be more substantial, what we call reclamation projects, where we grind up the entire pavement structure and start over new with a complete pavement structure.
Commissioner Westerden?
How does MnDOT go through every county road and give it, do they test every single
So they've got,
pavement?
I believe, 2 pavement rating vans. They're very high-tech vans that they just drive over the roads. This van has all kinds of sensors, cameras, different data collection, high-tech data collection. They drive, it used to be on a 4-year frequency, but now it's on a 2-year frequency. They coordinate with the counties. Counties have to provide a driver for the vehicle. Every 2 years, there's the 2 or 3 day period where we provide a driver and take this high-tech van over all of our roads, and then, a few months later, in the early winter months, we
never
get
knew
the
that.
data back from them. So, yeah, we have a lot of data.
They should get together with Google Earth so they can get a bunch of stuff done at the same time. Anyway.
So, and that data is used, that data is pretty accurate, as the pavements age, the ratings go down. So that's primarily what we use to program resurfacing projects. We also do, though, graphically, or we group projects together geographically, just, for better unit bid prices, we want to have, we want to group paving projects together so that they're close to the temporary hot mix plant that gets set up. So that becomes a consideration also. So we don't just, there could be a highway out there with a better rating that doesn't get replaced, or that gets replaced before a roadway with a lower rating, and that would be because of that geographical distribution. I was saying that thin mill and overlays are typically what we do with pavement resurfacing, but we do also do full depth reclamation. When the pavement gets so old, typically when the oldest part of the pavement is 60 plus years old, we'll reclaim the entire pavement, start over new with a brand new 4.5, 5 inch pavement mat. And also under this category, we do widen roads when the shoulders are deficient, when there's drainage concerns. We do that other type of work in conjunction with the resurfacing project. So this, again, just gives a graph kind of showing the blue lines are the existing pavements, the red lines are the miles that we are proposing to, resurface with this 5-year program. So again, we've got some years where we don't have any pavements. We've got some years where we have quite a lot. We try to keep it somewhat balanced. And I would say right now we are somewhat balanced. There was a period of time when over 50% of our pavements were done within a 6 or 8 year time period, and that was a kind of a tough thing to deal with at the time. That's why some of our pavements got to be in pretty rough shape. We had to do some pretty minimum fixes to try to spread this graph out a little bit to make it more sustainable to maintain into the future. So to get into the gravel road categories, as I said, one of the categories is improving a gravel road, building it up, putting down enough aggregate base to support a bituminous pavement. The way we program projects to do that is through this priority rating worksheet. This was a worksheet that was developed, I believe, the early 2000s. It looks at a bunch of different data, including ADT, residence density, functional classification, safety aspects, land ownership, and system layout, functional system layout. So every segment is rated for those things, and what comes out is a total in terms of a priority rating. And as I said, this is what we've used since just after 2000 to prioritize which segments of road we're going to improve from gravel surface to pavement. And you can see the highlighted projects that we have there. We follow this almost exactly, but we update the data every year. So once in a while a project will sneak in, and that's the case with the project that's shown up there that isn't highlighted. The data changed, and it leapfrogged a couple of the other projects. But typically we use this worksheet to determine which projects are next up for improvement to paving. And in this, and as I said, in this program, we've got 3 segments. Just wanted to show a graph here. First, I want to talk a little bit about gravel road improvements, improving them to a gravel road, just a better gravel road. We do that category of work as well. The road segments will remain a gravel surfaced road, but they'll now be a gravel surfaced road that meets standards. So this graph kind of shows both of those categories. The blue lines show the mileage that we've improved to paved road standards since 1994, and the red lines show the gravel road miles that we've improved to gravel road standards in that time period. So all totaled, about 93 miles of our 280 currently paved miles were done in this time period. 42 miles of the 235 miles that we have that are currently gravel have been improved during this time period. So we've been, I think, we've been fairly aggressive in improving gravel roads, to be either better gravel roads or to be better paved roads. Want to talk, or just want to summarize this, I guess, with the construction categories then between those 5. Obviously, our biggest, I don't show a total there. So the total 5-year program is a little over $35 million. 54% of that is in pavement resurfacing category. 33% of it is in reconstruction category. That's basically taking gravel roads and reconstructing them to paved roads. 7.5% is in the bridge replacement category. Just under 4% is in gravel road improvements, and a little over 2% is highway safety improvement
Commissioner Sample?
category.
Hey, John.
Yeah.
Now, they're gonna put that traffic circle in there at the 4-way in McGregor,
Roundabout, yes.
roundabout, thank you.
There's a difference.
Well, but they're gonna put the roundabout, okay? So to go north, they're either gonna use Simpson Road or they're gonna use County Road 62.
During construction you're talking about?
Yes, during construction. Do we get paid for that? That's one. And my second question is, when we start talking about this, I know 62 to 71 is on the venue, and that's during the same time frame, is it not? When they're gonna be doing the roundabout?
Yeah, I believe it is. So the latest I've heard is that there's one stage of that roundabout construction probably a 3 or 4 week stage that they're going to detour, similar to the one up in Hill City that had to detour for just one of the stages. So that's the latest I've heard, and they haven't decided yet which one of our routes they would use as a detour. But yes, once they decide that, they would, they would have a detour agreement with us, and they would pay us some money. We got a total of $660 for using our County Road 74 for the Hill City
Oh,
roundabout
really?
that was just
That's it?
completed. So it isn't a lot of money, but yes, they will enter into that agreement with us. I've also heard that they've possibly through the design are not going to have to detour. So I'm kind of interested to hear at the public meeting
Okay, I
here
mean, I was
this
just
week.
worried when you're talking about all of this money. I'm like, any of that we gonna get back from the state?
Very little. But let's talk about money, because most of our money, most of that 35 million does actually come through the Highway User Distribution Fund, which we get from the state that collects it. So this graph shows our funding sources in this 5-year program. Again, $35 million is the total. 75% of that you can see is from our county state aid highway apportionment that we get annually through the Highway User Trust Fund. That's the gas taxes, the license tab fees, the motor vehicle sales tax. Now there's a couple other things in there that generate a revenue for the Highway User Trust Fund. So that's where 75% of our revenue comes from. It's, we don't really have any control over the amount that we get. Obviously, it's part of a big, complex formula. So we take whatever that formula gives us. The second largest revenue source is our local levy. That's about 15%. You can see that only about 6% of this program is federal funds. 3% of it is from the state through their bonding program, specifically through the local bridge replacement program.
And the federal grants, what are they mainly on?
Excuse me, can you say that again?
The federal grants, what are they mainly on? State roads, county?
Well,
I mean,
this
it's on
is all
county.
county roads.
Right.
Our HSIP, those are federal dollars. So we've got 2 pavement enhancement marking projects that are in our program. Those are federal dollars. I believe the only other federal dollars are on our County Road 4 project, which is planned for 2028. So we'll be getting a $1.6 million surface transportation grant for that project through the Northeast Minnesota ATP.
Okay, I was curious with the logging and everything.
So I did just want to talk for a second about the funding. The way we put this program together, the program is basically revenue restrained. We look at the revenue we have, because basically we don't control any of this revenue other than our local levy, and we increase the local levy reasonable nominal amounts. But otherwise, all these funding sources, they're finite. So when we put this program together, it is restrained by those funding sources, which has always been the case. Now, I wanted to make you aware, I'm sure you are aware, but just to reiterate that not all counties do it that way. Some counties will do a complete needs assessment, a complete system-wide assessment, and come up with the number, what they want to do and the number that it takes. And then they'll look at the revenue they have and they'll say, okay, we're short 30 million. How do we do that? And bonding is the most commonly used thing. I ran across an article from a southwestern Minnesota county that they're a large county geographically, a little larger than ours. Their state aid apportionment is about 20% higher than ours, so they're a little bit bigger county. But their 5-year program that they just implemented, $89 million. So, and I don't know what their revenue sources are, but I think it's probably $30 or $40 million short of that, so they're bonding for that. Now, I'm not suggesting we should do that, because I think with our funding sources that we have and the way we've done it, we prioritize projects based on the restrained revenue that we have, and I think that is a good way forward, but I did just want to, make you aware that that's not the way all counties do it. And yes, we have thought about doing something similar, but as far as the highway department's concerned, we don't see the need. Now, if you see the need, if the constituents see the need, that's something maybe we need to talk about. But what we put together is based on, being restrained by known revenue.
And I think your crews do a great job on maintaining the roads we have.
Could we switch to the other presentation? So then just to quickly go over the projects, and I'll try to go through these fast, so we don't spend a lot of time on any one of them. This first sheet is just gonna show a listing of the projects year by year, along with the cost estimates. So that's where you'll see that $35 million in total program cost. You can see that the cost by year varies quite a bit. I guess the typical cost is maybe 5 million, 7 million. Next year is a big year with $10 million. We've got some funding saved up, so it's gonna be a bigger year than normal next year, at a little over $10 million. But I'm not gonna go through this list, I'm just gonna go through the maps, and I'll talk individually about the projects. But other than on this list, to say that the highlighted projects are the ones that were added, so these are new this year as a result of this 5-year update. And also just to note that if you were to compare it to last year's program, you'll see that several projects moved around a little bit. You know, that's something we have to do, especially in the out years of the program, as we get better, a better idea of how much projects actually cost in the current year from bidding, and as we develop projects and get a better idea of their cost. We're working with new numbers all the time, and we have to adjust this every year. So there are several projects in this year's program that were delayed out a year or two just for funding reasons. So to quickly go through the, is that the biggest can we make that bigger? That's for my sake, not for yours. Yeah, there you go. So I'll just quickly go through these maps. This is the 2026 map. So I'll start from the bottom. You can see the 2 bridges down there on County Road 2. Those are, like I said, currently being advertised, will be replaced next year. Working your way up through Kimberly, you see a red line on County Road 5 that's grading an aggregate base that's proposed for next year. And then a little bit further north, just north of McGregor, County Road 62 and 71, again grading an aggregate base. That's expensive work. The 5 project in particular is estimated at $6.5 million. So that's our program for 2026. As we get into 2027, let's see, which direction should I go? Maybe from left to right here. Starting on the left side, way up in the northwest, we've got a couple of projects on County Road 19, replacing the bridge. It's actually just a culvert bridge in the Moose River, and then doing a little bit of road work to the south of that bridge where it goes through a low area and isn't a very good roadway. Going further to the right on the page, then you run into our County Road 62 and 71 bituminous paving. After building it in 2026, we intend to pave it in 2027. Up along the east side of Big Sandy Lake, you'll see a red line there from 65 all the way up to County Road 36. That's resurfacing work that's going to happen on County Road 14. Part of that project, the north 2 miles, is actually shoulder widening. It'll be, much more than a resurfacing. It'll be more like a reconstruction project with resurfacing, redoing drainage, making some other improvements. Even the 2 miles south of County Road 40, we're doing some additional work involving tree clearing, trying to clear the right-of-way back a little bit that has become so grown up, and possibly doing a safety improvement at intersection with the township road there, where we may actually realign that road or cut it down a little bit at that intersection to make it safer. So that, and then also County Road 36 resurfacing on the north side of Big Sandy Lake. That's a project that was added just based on the poor condition of the pavement up in that area. That was added this year. Getting into 2028, again, working from the bottom, the long project you see there, that's the County Road 4 project. That's a federal project. Also, just north of that is paving of County Road 5 that we constructed the year prior. If you go over to the right side, County Road 57, there's a bridge there. It's going to be a new bridge. It's not currently a bridge, but it will be a culvert bridge over Section 5 Creek. And then we're also going to be improving 5 miles of County Road 57 to a good gravel road standard. And then just a little further north on County Road 30, we've got a bridge, a culvert bridge again, in Wakefield Brook that we're gonna be replacing. We also have, it's not shown on the map, but one of those HSIP enhanced pavement marking projects that will be happening on portions of County Road 6 up by Tamarack, the entire segment of County Road 12 and 17, south of Aitkin, and then County Road 28 between 210 and 169. Looking at the 2029 program, basically entirely bituminous resurfacing is shown on this map. Starting on the left side, County Road 3, as it comes in from Crow Wing County, will be resurfaced. The short segment of County Road 29 going north of there, getting up towards Swatera, County Road 7 leading into Swatera, as well as just a little quarter-mile segment on County Road 29 through Swatera. And then up into Hill City, County Road 33, Main Street, County Road 66 up north along the west side of Hill Lake, County Road 82 going into Quadna, all programmed for resurfacing in 2029. And again, it isn't shown on the map, but we also have a HSIP enhanced pavement marking project happening in that year. That will be placing enhanced pavements on County Road 2 from 47 to 65 east of Malmo, as well as on County Road 3, the segment just west of 169, and then County Road 11, the Tame Fish Road down south of Farm Island Lake. So that makes up the 2029 program. We get into the 2030 map, again, basically entirely resurfacing, starting with way on the south end, County Road 37 on the west side of Mille Lacs Lake, up a little further north, the County Road 28, Ditch Bank Road from 169 to 12, and getting into Aitkin, County Road 1 all the way from 210 up to County Road 22, about 3 miles north of downtown. So those are the Aitkin projects, and then over in the McGregor area, we've got bituminous resurfacing work on County Road 6 coming out of Tamarack, the east portion of County Road 6, and then County Road 8 south of McGregor. County Road 8, as we speak, I'm not sure that we can make that pavement last until 2030. We may have to move it up, but that's currently where it's sitting. So that's, I guess one more map. This just kind of shows, this shows the whole 5-year program put together. So you can see it's not just Aitkin, it's McGregor and it's Hill City. It's all over. You know, we've got improvements happening all over the county. We don't specifically look at geographical distribution of projects. You know, not one of the things that we use to prioritize projects, but we are always interested to see how those projects distribute geographically. And this 5-year program, you know, looks like we have a nice mix of work happening throughout the county. And Mr. Chair, to answer your question, where do we go from here?
Thank you.
So this plan, if you're okay with it, it'll get approved through the budget process. Once that happens, our staff, Highway Department staff, will work to deliver the program, and construction will happen when we're ready and when we have the funding to do it. Hopefully, you know, not too far off from the years that we've anticipated. So that's the program. I've tried to go through that quickly, but if there's any questions or comments?
Commissioners? One question I'll just reference what I recall was County Road 4, Dam Lake Road. Did you say this qualified for federal funding? And if so, what qualifies a county road for federal funding?
So basically, for federal funding, they have to be major collectors or above. So of our 280 miles of paved roads, I don't have the exact number, but probably around 150 of those miles are classified as major collectors. Most of the others are minor collectors.
Meaning
It's just a functional classification.
for a collector is traffic?
Right, so the federal highway functional classification system, it starts with principal arterials, those are, the interstate, that's the interstate system. Then minor arterials, those are generally the state highway system. From there, it goes down to collectors, major and minor, that's what most of our county road system is. So to be eligible for federal funding, it has to be a major collector or above. We don't have any arterials on our system, so basically any of our roads that are major collectors, and we've got, like I said, about 150 miles, those are all eligible for federal funding. Through the Northeast Minnesota ATP, you know, it's basically a take turns type of thing where every 3 years, maybe 4, we'll get up, you know, we're in line for a project, so it's just a matter of seeing which project we can utilize the $1.5 million or whatever grant. And County Road 4 this time happened to fit the time frame that we were gonna be, you know, that it was our turn for that federal funding.
Mr. Chair, if I may,
Yeah, Commissioner?
if the mine goes through over there, if it does, in Tamarack, will that change some of our outlook with the roads? You know what I'm saying?
Based on what I know, I don't believe so, no. I mean, if County Road 31 was still a gravel surface 5-ton road, maybe it would, but County Road 31 is a 10-ton road, as strong as any state highway. You know, same with County Road 32, so, you know, I think our system is in pretty good shape to accommodate what happens up there as, you know, to the best of my knowledge.
I was just curious with the travel and all of the stuff that'll happen around there, if that would change our outlook. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, very informative, John. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Great job.
Your crew's doing an excellent job too, John.
On to Environmental Services. Andrew Carlson. Welcome, Andrew.
Morning, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. Okay, first item on the agenda is pretty much just an introduction and a discussion only on the Aitkin County's we've finally arrived at the third generation of the floodplain information rate map. And so that's good news. And, but it's state funded, so it's gonna be on a timeline, but I'll just go ahead and read it, the overview. On September 30th, I believe you, Mr. Chair, received a letter. Aitkin County received from the Minnesota DNR copies of the preliminary flood insurance rate map and flood insurance study for Aitkin County and incorporated areas. The firm and FIS report have been produced in countywide format, which include flooding information for the entire county, encompassing communities and other incorporated areas. FEMA has prepared this preliminary version of the firm using a process that captures digital flood hazard information and plots it on the map panels using computer technology. Digital copies can be found, and this is real important. This is the website that the public can go to, and you will see a colored, very accurate map of your area. This is the city of Aitkin, and this is what we currently have. This is 1996 model. This is black and white pretty much. So this is second generation. This is what we're looking at as a county, third generation. Anyone can go at any time to this digital portal.
Interesting.
Yes, so this is exciting. So be advised, that's your portal site right there. So, and this uses LiDAR technology now. So attached is the public notice, ad proof, and letter. Minnesota DNR welcomes all community officials and citizen comments and asks for input before October 30th. Okay, please send your comments or concerns to Jeff Weiss. And I have not heard from Jeff yet, but we can anticipate community engagement in the future. The process takes about 7 to 10 months. So there's gonna be plenty of opportunity for the public to comment their concerns, things like that. There's gonna be a 90-day window where where you can appeal decisions. So just kind of the end state is we have more accuracy. There may be impacts to folks' properties. I see even in the city of Aitkin, even my property has been pulled into a different zone. And so we've got to be mindful of that as a county, but we've been waiting on this. They started this in 2010, and they're doing it statewide.
Commissioner Carney?
The question I have on this is FEMA, did they go out and re-look at these properties? Did they go out and actually look at it, or are they going off of?
LiDAR.
past previous reports, past floods many years ago, because I know there's properties out there, and we've talked about this, that flooded back in 1935, and they were put in the floodway. There's not been flooding in that area since they've had the rerouting and improvements made. So are they going off of old reports, or are they actually going out there and looking at these properties? Are they actually floodways, floodplains, et cetera?
Well,
Are these
primarily-
questions that we can bring up to them?
Yes, absolutely. And that is going to be the questions that we bring to them. Most of this is generated computer technology and engineering and so forth. But that'll be part of the appealing process. Like we're demanding, or we're asking for you to get out on the ground and see it for yourself. Now, whether they do that or not, again, that's FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Association or agency. But yeah, good question. But this is mostly technology as I understand.
Okay,
As
thank
I
you.
understand. Yes, ma'am.
So Andrew, I don't know how they can adjust people's properties with actually going out there.
That's
Do you think that they're gonna ask us or our assessors to do that work? Or you? Or is there a cost that there's some money they're gonna throw at us for us to do that work?
Yeah.
Or, I mean,
Yeah.
if they're just doing stuff from the sky,
That's gonna be major impact on
that's,
property
that's
owners.
Correct.
like, I mean, this
Correct.
is Mississippi River country.
Yeah, correct.
And we had a big flood in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if they started this in 2010,
In statewide, they started in 2010. I'm
Yeah.
not sure when they started. Aiken
started
County.
ours.
Well, most likely the onus would be on the property owner. They'd have to hire a surveyor, a licensed surveyor to get,
wrong.
to get the elevation, of their property. If they're rebutting or appealing the decision of what. So yes, we're gonna learn through the process. Seal, I'd like to invite a couple of you commissioners, Seal Strauss, our DNR floodplain manager for the state. She's gonna be making a visit in November. So I will extend
well,
invitation
I
to,
would extend to get some sort of, that for FEMA to come here and give us a presentation on how they did this. Or
yes.
I think that would
Yeah,
be,
well, that's where these community assistant visits, that's how they're gonna engage us going, again, this 7 to
they'll
10
have group
months out.
meetings in each county.
Yes, correct. And some of the counties have already adopted the digital format, obviously, so we're kind of.
Well, they're not
kinda
as wet
midway
as we
through it.
are.
Mr.
Correct.
We have a lot more issues.
Correct. Yes, sir.
Mr. Chair, if I may, I'd like to have her come out in the Fort District.
Yep.
We are the wettest of any of them in the county, and we're a wet county. We're 80 plus, but I think if you talk to some of our people that have a lot of knowledge on it, they would argue that we're probably in the 90 percentile somewhere as an average. I'd love for her to come over in the Fort District. My other question is that when I got elected and started asking questions on these floodplains and elevations, there's a whole bunch over in the Fort District that we don't even have a true elevation, floodplain elevation. So is all of this gonna get us?
Yeah. No, I don't think so. I think we're gonna work through the process. We're gonna use technology to make it more accurate, but yeah, people are afforded they can appeal if the decision of this, and they offer
At their
plenty of-
expense.
Yep.
At their expense.
Most-
Taxpayers pay a lot of damn money. That if they're gonna do this,
Yep.
I'd really love to see them come out in the fourth, and I know part of Travis's area too.
San Lori's.
Am I?
Yep. Yeah, I can request that. She'll,
wet.
I'll give you a ride out in Cedar Brook some spring.
Right.
yes.
Up there
Yep,
too.
that's right. Well,
I'll
yeah,
split
and
it with
she has a history with Aiken County. Back in 1982, Aiken County, the DNR had to adopt for Aiken County, because and I don't know all the history, but there was a real riff in, maybe Mark, you remember, early 80s.
Oh, yeah.
But there was a real rift between adopting the floodplain ordinance and the DNR ended up adopting it for Aiken County. And so I
And
don't
that
know all
was
the
a
details.
hard-fought battle.
Yes, yeah. Yep.
There's two flood stages, one from the Corps of Engineers
I was gonna
and
say.
one from the National Weather Service, representing the city of Aiken, Aiken Township, which is predominantly the most susceptible to flooding. Every spring, high water flooding, whatever you want to call it. It makes a big difference if they raise that from 12 feet to 14 feet, because that determines when the dams get open. And we get more water down here.
Yes, yep.
And not to go into a lot of detail, but more germane to your point, you're familiar with the island concept?
Yes, sir.
You are, I know.
Yep.
It's a situation, if you're in the floodplain, you cannot rebuild, you cannot do anything if you are in that, floodway area. However, you can make an appeal close to an act of Congress, but it can be done. Where you appeal to become a designated island. It's called the island concept.
Build on
And if you qualify for that, and I can list just several examples out in Cedar Brook, one currently in process,
Yep,
where, okay, now you can rebuild your house.
yep. Yep, that's right. These are historic farms that they did allow for an island. So I encourage you to go to the portal and check out your very own property. That portal is on there, the website, on my agenda request. And in the letter, the attachment as well, that was addressed to you, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, which I had passed on to everybody in the world, actually.
Yep.
Well, people involved.
It's a small world.
Further than that, Andrew?
That's all I have on that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Again, very
Sure there'll be a lot
informative.
of discussion on the
Yes.
planning commission.
Just deleted that letter.
There'll be a lot of discussion amongst
Yes, absolutely. Second item on the agenda is the public waters inventory presentation, and this is for discussion only as well. And we want to welcome, on August 15th, Aiken County was contacted by the DNR informing us that they were beginning work on a public waters inventory update project. Attached is the notification letter, frequently asked questions. I encourage you to view that as well, these frequently asked, and then the pathway, what it looks like for the future. So I'd like to welcome the lead hydrologist, Wes and Ash. They're working on Aiken County. We were the first, I believe the first. Take it away, sir.
Or number one.
Welcome, Ash.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. My name is Wes Saunders Pierce. I'm with the Minnesota DNR, and I'm the lead hydrologist for the Public Waters Inventory Update. With me today is my colleague Ash Fairchild, who's one of the team of specialists helping to undertake our work throughout the state. I wanted to, is this working? Okay, good. So I did want to just give you a thumbnail sketch on what I'm going to cover today. I'm going to give you a brief overview of the parameters for our work, basically the scope of the work, how we're undertaking this on a statewide scale, how we're doing this on a county-by-county approach, and then where we're at and what our next steps are. What I would like to start with is the project was initiated because of a legislative change to the Minnesota statute last year, which directed the DNR to update the PWI, the Public Waters Inventory. So as part of that, the legislature said you have 8 years to correct the map, and you have $1 million each year to support that work. So we're moving forward. We started last year, and we're moving forward with that. The Public Waters Inventory update is going to focus only on needed corrections, and we'll hear more about what the scope of the work involves as we move forward. But why this work is significant is because it's going to provide for better water resource protection. With an updated map, we'll have more regulatory clarity and a shared understanding about what is and what isn't considered a public water. Some of these corrections will result in some waters being added. Some corrections will result in some things being removed. Anything that is added that currently is not on the inventory on a statewide basis will be part of the state buffer law requirements. So as I mentioned, the work is involving a process to correct errors in the existing public waters inventory. One of the things that we want to be very clear about is the original inventory that was done in the 1980s is going to stand as its own package. And what I mean by that is we are not going to be involved in revisiting those past agency decisions. What happened in the original inventory is there was a process where a preliminary map was created that was provided to the county stakeholders. And then there was a process to review and hear information about those. And through that hearing process, the DNR decided that some things would not be included on the public waters inventory. And so we want to be clear that those are decisions that are going to stand. We're not going to go back and reopen those discussions. Some things that you can expect in terms of corrections. We do know statewide that we have a number of designated trout stream tributaries that have been identified over time that have not been brought onto our map. We also know during the buffer map project, which was about 10 years ago, that there were some procedural errors that were discovered. And as part of that, approximately 540 watercourses statewide were removed from the public waters inventory through a commissioner's order. The idea was we wanted to rectify that procedural error, and this is an opportunity for us to do that and to re-add those waters back through the appropriate process. We're also going to be evaluating public water wetlands. We do know that there are some that may not necessarily meet the statutory criteria for size. So we want to evaluate those and affirm the ones that do belong, and the ones that clearly do not meet our statutory criteria. We want to delist those for the purposes of the Wetland Conservation Act jurisdiction. And then finally, we'll be looking at county boundaries. When the original map was developed, we do know that there were discrepancies at the county boundaries just due to imprecisions in line work and things of that nature. So we're going to be looking at that as well. Some things that we want to be clear that we're not looking at for this PWI update, ordinary high water level determinations and decisions. Ordinary high water level decisions are what establish the jurisdictional boundary for waters. Our public waters inventory is a way to determine what belongs on a map or does not. It's an approximate boundary. And those ordinary high water levels are a determination of the precise regulatory extent. And so we don't have that as part of our scope of work to look at ordinary high water levels or adjusting the line work precision. Other things that we hear about from time to time that we are not undertaking as part of this work is naming. Some people either feel a name was inaccurate or want to change a name of a public water, and there's a separate process for that. So we're really focused on what belongs on the map and what doesn't.
Wes, when you talk about ordinary high levels, high water levels, is that pertaining to local lakes, streams, rivers, or what?
Correct. So the ordinary high water level would be, as you just mentioned, Mr. Chair, for a lake or for a wetland or for a river. And those are based on field scale indicators through a survey-specific procedure that's done typically when there's a need for either a permit process or something of that nature.
And Mr. Chair, if I can add on to that, what about like Big Sandia Reservoir that the Corps owns a bunch of it? First of all, I want to tell you, thank you for coming here and telling us about doing this inventory, because the Corps did it and they didn't tell anybody. And that's created a whole can of worms that, but thank you for coming. But my second thing is, we talk a lot about high water. What about on federal land?
Commissioner, I appreciate your comments, and I do want to respond to your question about Big Sandy. So that is a water body that's on our map, and at this point in time, we don't see any need to change whether that belongs on our map or not. So the areas that we're focusing on in Aitkin County principally are water courses in nature. There are some wetlands, but at this point in time, a feature like Big Sandy is not something that we're evaluating for the purposes of our work.
Thank you.
And Wes, just a point of clarification, the reason that I ask about the ordinary high level water levels, it's very germane in Aitkin County to the establishment of no wake zones.
Mr. Chair, I understand very deeply. Before taking this project, I was an area hydrologist for 3.5 years, and I had, in my communities that I covered, they had lakes that had no wake zones, and I'm very familiar with the relationship between the land use controls that local government has to establish no wake zones and ordinary high water levels and so forth. So appreciate that.
Thank you.
I would also add, before I move on to the next slide, that if there are water bodies that are added to our inventory as a result of our work, they will not automatically have a shoreland classification. That will be a process that we would expect to follow what is customary, which is when a local government unit which has a shoreland ordinance and they have a need to amend it or update it, that would be a point in time that we would consider working with that local government to add anything that needed to have a classification. So statewide, what we are proceeding with is a quasi-alphabetical approach. Obviously, Aitkin County, number one. But what we are doing is we are making sure that we have one county underway in one of each of DNR's 4 administrative regions. So we have 4 administrative regions and we want to move forward. So it's not literally an alphabetical approach in that way because we have them distributed through 4 regions. And then there are a few counties where, for instance, we know that this year our fisheries division is going through a process to designate trout streams. So we're trying to not trip over ourselves and we've kind of set some of those aside. But generally, it's an alphabetical approach. We're hoping to get 12 to 16 counties done a year because we do need to be done by 2032. So in my view, that's like right around the corner. We have 5 FTEs that have been hired. Myself, I introduced Ash, and we have 3 other team members. Each of the specialists are in each of the 4 regions. So Ash is in Region 2 here. So we're using our best available technology to do this work, not dissimilar from the flood insurance rate map work that you just heard about. But I will point out that we have a project webpage, and I know in your packet that there's a fact sheet of frequently asked questions in your packet that was from our project webpage. We also have a process diagram, and there's a narrative that talks about the process. And I know that diagram's in your packet. I do have that diagram today, and I do want to spend a few minutes talking about that as well. So specifically in terms of the county process, across the state, each county will receive a notification letter indicating that we're beginning the technical review. And then myself and our specialists will move forward with that work in consultation with our area hydrologist colleagues as well. We'll prepare a map of preliminary corrections, and that provides the basis for comments and dialogue with the local government units in the county and stakeholders. At the time that that preliminary map of correction is prepared, we will also be sending landowner notifications to any landowner that may potentially be affected by a change, whether it's something being removed or something being added, so that they will have a clear understanding of what the process is and an opportunity to engage in that through comment. We'll hold a public meeting in each county to review the preliminary map of corrections and any comments and questions. The process will also have a 60-day comment period. And what we've elected to do is basically have the comment period bookend the public meeting. So it would start 30 days before the public meeting and then 30 days after the public meeting. We will have a portal where we can receive comments through our webpage. And that way, we basically, won't have to keep track of emails and things kind of being scattered. It's all gonna be funneled into one central repository. And when we are through that comment period, we'll make any modifications as necessary, and we will reissue our map. And we will at that point call it a provisional final map, and you'll see this on the next slide. And then there'll be a 90-day period where for that particular county, we'll basically just have a waiting period for any potential challenges if someone is aggrieved about a decision that we've made. Once we're through that petition or challenge period, then we would issue a final map and list for the county. So that's kind of some of the sound bites. That's also on our project webpage, but we also have it graphically as a figure here. And I won't get in all the particular details. I know this is also in your packet. What I would point out is the nice thing about a diagram is it provides a little bit more of a kind of understanding about the major phases of our work. So when we start the preliminary review phase, which is where we're at now, is what we're currently undergoing, which is a several-month process. Once we produce the preliminary map, then the process moves into what we consider the external stakeholder phase, the comment period, the public meeting. And you can see as we receive comments, we may have to do additional review. There may be a need to have a specialist go to somebody's property to look at something if they're interested in that. But then we would, after the comment period is done, which again would be a several-month process, we would move into the final review process. And so you can see the production of what we call the provisional final map, the 90-day hold period for any challenges or petitions. Ultimately, we would wrap up that final review phase with the final findings of fact and an order to update the map for the county. Altogether, the process could be on the order of about 10 months. It's a little bit unclear. Some of it depends. In certain counties, we may have significant number of corrections to evaluate. For instance, in the northeast or the southeast, where we know we have a lot of trout stream tributaries, we know that there might be a little more time on that front-end review process. But as a generality, that would be about reasonable to expect, about possibly 10 months or so. So where we're at now, I'm sure that you're aware we've started. I'm obviously here. We started with 4 counties: Clay County, Aitkin County, Benton County, and Blue Earth County. Those all received notification letters in the middle of August. Those letters were sent to the board chair of the county as well as the county administrator. The SWCD manager received a copy. Counties that have watershed agencies, those agencies also received a copy. And then we also had additional outreach that we produced. We have a subscription service, so if someone wanted to receive an update, we have Gov Delivery that would give information to people that subscribe. And then, of course, I mentioned the web page. So that's where we're currently at. We have those 4 counties underway. And we're in the process of carrying out the technical reviews. Once that's done, as I mentioned, we'll share that preliminary map. And when that preliminary map is established and issued, details about the date, the time, and the location of the public meeting will be included in that issuance. It would be the same for any landowner, so everybody that receives notification of that preliminary map will have the details about how to engage, when the county meeting is, where it is, and so forth. And then finally, as we move into November and we look to target issuing the preliminary map, we will be updating our webpage so that we can activate the portal for the comment process. And then that will be, for anybody anybody can comment. They don't have to be a resident of Aitkin County to comment on Aitkin County's preliminary map. So it's kind of wide open in that way. But we will be having a few enhancements. I would also add that when we issue the preliminary map, we will be issuing a hard copy with that. But we will also, and when I say a hard copy, I mean a PDF version of a map that can be printed. But we will also be very similar with the flood insurance rate map work. We will be having a digital copy online on our webpage. So when somebody wants to provide a copy, or I'm sorry, when they want to provide a comment, they will actually be looking at the digital version of the preliminary map on our webpage so that they don't have to like go back and forth or anything like that. That's what I have for you this morning. I really appreciate the opportunity to come and speak to you, and I welcome any questions that you have.
Commissioners?
I have a question. So do you guys use drones then too, or what type of technology are you using?
We are not using drones for
Okay.
this. We are doing a great deal of remote or desktop work.
Yep.
And one of the things that we are doing is we use a technology that's called Hydrographic Positioning Index, HPI. And that basically is a fancy way of saying LiDAR that has been fancied up. And there's a new HPI or LiDAR that is coming out. So we're trying to integrate that with our workflow across the state. But there's a variety of desktop tools that we're using to carry out our work.
Good.
Commissioners, any additional comments, questions? Just a quick question. I think I know the answer, but Wes, does the DNR have any collaboration whatsoever with the Corps of Engineers when it comes to the diversion channel in Aitkin County?
Mr. Chair, that's a question that I don't have an answer for. I could look into that if you'd like, but I would expect that's probably either more, our area hydrologist for Aitkin County would probably be more knowledgeable about that, or our floodplain program.
Yes, I can, Mr. Chair, I can get our area hydrologist and ask him that question.
The basis of my question, and I monitor that quite closely, is the flow of the channel to make sure it's doing its job. And there's a lot of debris built up since 1953, when it was put in, has built up a lot of residue. And I'm wondering at what capacity is it actually flowing and doing its job? So, Andrew, that's, again, the basis of my question.
Excellent. We'll make sure we get that back to our area hydrologist and see if we can work through your staff to bring that back.
Because it does impact a large part of our county.
It impacts FEMA.
Wes, Ash, thanks very much. Good presentation.
Yes.
Appreciate your taking the time to come to us.
Great. Thank you, and I look forward to being back here for the public meeting later this fall.
Very good. Thanks again, Wes. Ash?
Yep.
Thanks for being proactive.
Oh, yeah. Just a second.
Involving us.
Okay, and.
Andrew?
Yes, sir.
I just want to go back to the FEMA brief, real quick, one
Yes.
question. Who in your office is going to be the point of contact? Is it going to be Henry, you, or that you're going to be working with FEMA as this process goes through?
Yes, I will.
You
I'll
will?
be
Okay.
primary contact. Yes, sir.
Excellent, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
And let's see. The last item on the agenda is the overlook at the preserve final plat. So in accordance with section 5 and section 6 of the Aitkin County subdivision ordinance, the requirements for preliminary and final plat have been met for the overlook at the preserve. The final plat conforms to the preliminary plat approved by the Planning Commission on September 15th, 2025. The proposed plat is a 3-lot residential subdivision located in Workman Township, District 4. I am respectfully requesting the Board of Commissioners' approval in order to allow the applicant to move ahead with development of this platted subdivision. Attached is the final plat, associated conditions with the proposal from the Planning Commission. The applicant is here if this is Mr. Scott Spaeth from Workman Township. And I don't, if you have any questions for him or, but at this time, I'm requesting a motion to approve the final plat of the overlook at the preserve and authorize the board chair to sign the final plat drawings.
I guess prior to that, Mr. Smith, just out of courtesy,
Spaeth.
Spade.
Spade, I'm sorry.
Oh, did you have a question? I'm sorry.
Just if you wanted to make any comments.
No, it's a small little project, just hoping to be able to do more of this as it presents itself. I've obviously learned a lot through this process, I do it with a lot of smaller situations, but this is my first larger one. And, we'll see how it goes, I'm just experimenting here myself and, hopefully they'll sell quickly and people will build homes and it benefits everybody, so.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Spade.
Mr. Chair, as the commissioner for Workman County, or Workman Township, thank you. A big thing on the board is we keep saying we need housing. I think this is a no-brainer. We need to approve this.
Is that a motion, sir?
Is that your motion?
That's my motion.
A motion to set effect on the floor by Commissioner Sample. Call for support to that motion.
I'll support.
Commissioner LaVisca supports. Any further comments, questions, or discussion?
As on the planning commission, it was a no-brainer, Commissioner Sample, and that's why we
Yes.
went forward.
Thank you for doing this.
Absolutely, thank you
Thank you.
very
Great.
much.
With that being said, we'll call the question. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposition, same sign. That motion carries.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner.
Thanks a lot, Andrew.
Yep.
Andrew, you were really put to the paces there today. Thank you, great job.
He's off and running, look at him.
On to
Can't get out of here.
Board of Commissioners Committee updates. Go counterclockwise, I think, today. Commissioner Westerland?
Let's see here. Yes, I'm kind of prepared. We had, Community Health Board, meeting, which is Aitkin, Itasca, Kuchiching, which, our Hannah works with. So, we had it at the Highway Department, which is a great place to meet.
Yes, it
I'm
is.
telling you, that is the place to go if you can't get into the courthouse here. We went through county updates. We went through, the federal shutdown. WIC will continue. Not too many other things are continuing for public health. We went through the strategic plan. Shaq was having a, what do you call it? A get-together down somewhere in the cities, I can't remember where it was at, for a couple days to regroup and get together, and invited anybody from public health there to learn some more about what's happening and what's going on. We talked about the foundational public health responsibilities. We had a little shift of some duties, and we're still continuing to have some discussions with our public health leaders and Maggie Rothstein, she's our director. So we're just kind of working through that right now. Aitkin County is obviously doing a lot of things as usual. Our public health is busy. I don't know if everybody's gotten their flu shots. They had sent out a thing for that. Talking about the new McGregor food shelf. We had 25 families for home visiting. I believe that's in a 2-month period. Yeah, just emergency preparedness all the time. Tobacco, cannabis compliance checks, opioid work, suicide prevention, health education. I mean, Aitkin's got it going on, all our little food stuff. That's all for public health. We had Aiken ATV committee. The sheriff was there this time, so we talked a little bit about speed and about how they're gonna, he's in a group with a bunch of sheriffs that are trying to change legislation about speed for the ATVs. I'm not really sure what,
There was another
It's
fatality.
become a big issue.
yeah. It has become a
Safety
big,
wise.
yes, yes.
I think there's been 30-some fatalities. in
Yeah,
the
it's
state.
not been good. There's a bid packet going out. He thinks the 21st of October for the ATV trail in, the Northwoods ATV trail in my area and Travis's area. The impact study, we talked about that here before. That's probably about it. I had MRC in Alexandria, oh gosh, last week. We went over some of our priorities. Of course, we go through the financial statements and the secretary, everything looks peachy keen there. You all know we have Capital Associates running that group, which is, they're phenomenal. We work very well with AMC. We actually contract with AMC to help us. Went through some of the preliminary stuff for, their levies. Looks like Wadena County was at 13.2, that was their, and then,
Where's
Pipestone was 12.46, those were the two largest, but I wrote down most of them. I don't know if somebody's keeping track of those or not. We went through our rural counties legislative priorities. If you guys would like a copy of this, we kind of do the three that are the most important that we want to work with AMC and bring to the legislative. And of course, there were mental health, juvenile and adult, solid waste, and SSIS, which is the program for Health and Human Services to get them off that green screen and into the real world here, since they're 30 years behind or however many years they're behind. So that was our biggest talk about there.
Solid waste, the dumps are closing.
Well, I mean, they're really trying to work with MPCA, a lot of these counties, and, you know, if it takes 10 years to get a permit,
Yep.
you know, what's the point? You might as well, I can't say what I want to say, but
Yeah, we're taking it all the Wisconsin.
you're welcome.
It's just us here.
No, it's not.
Talking to America.
I know, right? I'm going to, I think that's all I had. Close enough.
Okay, thank you, Lori.
Thank you.
Commissioner, Aviska?
There it is. I'll be pretty easy today. I was, just wanted to touch on the ATV meeting with Lori regarding the speed limits and what that work group is doing is, so there's the current legislation and the things that you can put in a county ordinance are all based on class 1 ATVs. They don't cover these bigger ones. So that's where a lot of this work group's trying to come up with some legislation to include these new classes of ATVs and UTVs on the trails so that those can have limits set on them, because I don't think there's anybody sitting here that thinks you need to be flying 60 miles an hour down a ATV trail around corners and stuff. So, limits would be good on those. So other than the ATV, I didn't have anything this week. Most of mine's next week. So.
Thanks, Commissioner. Commissioner Sample?
Well, our AIS was canceled
Again.
again. And,
That's
from McGregor Airport Commission, we did have an airplane crash. Thank you for the call. I was up north giving a gun class.
Involve you guys as districts and committees, so.
Thank you. Nobody was seriously injured in that, thank God. The FFA is out doing their investigations, so I'll leave that lie where it is. Facilities, Mr. Bright has given a good brief like usual. And I was on a ATV ride with Senator Weisenberg and a couple others down in the Lawler Loop, that they were talking to him because we had a meeting with the loggers and the land department. And thank you for coming, Mr. Minky. It kind of opened up the eyes, because these ATV clubs get money to fix the trails, but the loggers build the roads, and then the ATVs use the roads and they're tearing them up. So they're trying to come and work something out to where some of that money, in the way it's worded, can be dispersed into the loggers road. So at that meeting, Senator Weisenberg had came to, talking with the loggers. And then he went on that ATV ride with them and talked to the clubs, and the club said, we agree. So now I guess they're gonna sit down with the logging community and figure out a way they can work this out where there isn't all this bad blood. So that's the gist of my committees.
Okay, thank you.
All right, most of my meetings are this week, but I did attend the district, AMC District Director meeting. And Mark Jeffers was down there, did an exceptional job. He sits on the housing committee for AMC, presented the need and continued need for housing. So he did a wonderful job. If you see him in halls, pass by, say, hey, good job on your briefing. We had the Health and Human Services briefing meeting. We had the drop-in service briefing that we got to sit through again.
Battles of Peace.
Yes, so that was good. I have the AOA, ACA on Wednesday, Thursday, ARDC, and then St. Louis County is hosting the AMC County Leaders and Tribal Leaders joint meeting on Thursday. I'll attend that, so if no one else can go, I'll just pick
I'm not
up
going.
notes. I do
the
have to
same.
apologize. For Friday, we have the AMC District 1 meeting. If you can attend, that would be great. And then I have the AMC priority list, and I just left my brief case at home. I will go home today and get that and drop it off with you so you can make copies of the priorities established this year for this 2026 for AMC. Okay, for each one of the health and human services, transportation,
Okay,
agriculture.
These are the priorities that we adopted in December.
These are the ones that we've selected.
Right.
So that way you guys have a view of what's going on.
and give you some
through
input.
AMC.
That'd be
Yeah,
great.
and if you have input to give. And that's all I have, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chair, if I could ask a follow-up of Commissioner Carney, are those the priorities that get voted on at the district meeting?
These will be the priorities voted on in December.
At the General
At the
Assembly?
general
Oh, we
sen-
don't need those.
Huh?
I don't need a copy of those. I
Oh,
have a
Well, I
copy.
just like you to make sure everybody has them, so.
Oh.
But these are the ones that we are going to vote
Okay.
on. These are the ones we just did at the legislative conference.
Okay.
You know, not the legislative conference, the.
Right,
Policy.
Okay, the policy conference. I have a list of them all packaged together now, and I'll get that to you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and thank you to everybody else for covering the committees that I was also involved in. I do have a couple extrinsic things. A problem, we go through this year after year after year at our truth and taxation hearing. Well, our budget hearing, which I think is the second,
We should change it to the budget hearing, not the truth and taxation.
well, it actually is called the budget hearing now, I believe.
That's what we should put it out there as.
We have people show up thinking it's the Board of Adjustment and Equalization. What can we do to get the word out to people as to what the budget hearing is? It's strictly a review of the proposed budget, a prelude to the final adoption of the levy versus, I want to appeal my assessed value.
Get a letter out.
My first thought was to send it out with the property tax statements that go out mid-November. That can't be done because it's outsourced. It's virtually done right now. And I don't have the answers, maybe PSA's public service announcements. But the more I thought, and every year we go through this, so we have the assessor's office staff, we have people redirecting that. But if you slip through the cracks and come up, the first thing I do is, here's what this meeting is for, and here's what the meeting is not for. Just to maintain peace and harmony and tranquility. That if you're here to appeal, this is not the meeting, but the assessor's office is staffed. And they'll be happy to meet with you, and that has created a lot of goodwill out of miscommunication.
Can we put it in the newspaper, Mr. Chair, along with? I mean, I'm just saying it because the people that usually come here are the older people. You know what I'm saying? And they all read the newspaper. They don't do the social media like our younger
Do a
group does.
podcast about it on our website, maybe?
Well, the more I thought of it, Aitkin County is not alone.
No.
If we're having this problem,
Every other county's having.
is there a way we could approach, I know it's short-timed, AMC to do something? Again, if we're having the problem, so is every 86 other counties in the state.
I'll check with, we have the district meeting.
Did
on
you see that in Pine? Were people coming in for that? Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, Commissioner LaVisca. Yeah, I think it's a system-wide problem that people come to the budget meeting thinking that they can talk about their property value. And I think most counties like Aitkin have assessor staff available to at least have the conversation and answer questions on property values.
So is there a way we could collaborate with since it is a statewide county?
I could bring it up. Maybe general government might be a good place for me to bring
That
it up.
probably would be.
Yeah, I'll bring that up with Matt in general government.
Again, it's an initial
District
approach to a
one.
common problem.
We
Who's
could
the
bring it up at
president there?
District One.
At District One meeting.
We know somebody in
If
district.
there's a president that's there that we know.
Well, I thought of calling Jessica, because we do have an in, with AMC. So, but that again is, every year, we've gone through this. And it's not, what do we do next type thing? It never happens, so if there's anything we could do to be more proactive about this, be it public service announcements or whatever, give it some thought. We've got less than 2 months.
It's all about education. And,
Yeah,
you
it
know,
is. And the name of it's Board of Adjustment, and what is the other one meeting?
Equalization.
Taxation.
Are we calling it Truth and Taxation anymore?
That's
No,
why,
it's called the budget hearing.
Budget.
well, but I think it's called Truth and Taxation
It used to be.
on our tax statement.
Does it?
That's where they're looking at. They're not looking anywhere else. They get their taxes.
Then that's gotta be corrected.
That's right.
Right, okay, well, that's one thing
Administrator,
that administrator
could
can
you look into that?
I will look into that, Mr.
Yeah.
Chair.
And then we can ask the questions at District One meeting. If other counties have the same issues, and what is the
Well,
fit?
So let's be proactive
Yes, sir.
about
It's
this.
because the state doesn't have to do either one of those things.
They don't have to operate on.
They don't have to have people come in and say,
is
hey,
us.
this is where this money went.
Yeah, the
just
state
steal it.
mandates it, but they themselves are exempt.
All right.
So, again, just
Willy-nilly fun.
trying to be proactive here.
Yep.
If Aitkin County can take the lead and maybe help the whole state, as we did with the state property tax, also known as, what is that called, the
Let's go this way.
line item. The state general tax,
Is that the commercial reduction?
Yep, it's the willy-nilly fund.
yes. Commercial and I think non-homesteaded properties.
It was non-homesteaded properties. I don't think it is anymore.
No, I think it's just
It's just business.
commercial,
Okay, I thought
industrial.
one time.
It was in the
Which
beginning.
we're still working to try to cut down.
But we wanted it abolished, and it started with Commissioner Nemi right here at this, at the Aitkin County Board meeting. It transcended through the whole entire state, and through a collaborative effort, we got the legislature to
Commissioner
change it.
Nevy, and it was me too. I made hundreds of pies.
Yeah,
I did, I'm not honest,
anyhow,
but-
our budget hearing, so people don't confuse it with, they still will, but the other thing, just kind of like today, in some of the presentations, nobody's eyesight is getting any better. Is there a way that we can magnify the things either up there? It's virtually unreadable. There again, a common problem. Chris, I'm still glad you're here. I don't know what we can do about it. But even with reading glasses and cheaters, it's hard to see this stuff.
I can share next time, it might be a little easier, but it's still hard to see on the iPad or the computer or whatever.
For what it's worth.
Okay.
And it's only gonna get worse.
Yeah.
And thus ends
It
the
ain't getting
commission
better.
work session.
That's not encouraging from my perspective.
So, and I just have a comment about our ATVs on the roads. Okay, I don't know that all of the truckers build those roads. I do think that our land department builds those roads. Well, but they're not asked to maintain them unless they're really bad.
The
So,
loggers are.
But
the loggers are supposed to maintain that road after they've left. That's the deal.
But the problem is, Lori, that the land department does not build a lot of the roads. Most roads are built by the loggers. Right.
Okay,
And
well,
then
or they're
once-
minimum maintenance roads, which
Right.
are township roads.
But they build them.
Mm-hmm.
And then the
maintain
problem
them.
they have is the ATVs, and even the land department said it was a big problem. And the
not what we
problem
got
is,
at-
That's not what I heard.
No, we got the
I
opposite
never
at the
heard that at
ATV
all.
committee meeting, so
talked about
it depends
this.
on what loggers or what haulers you're talking to, cause there's other haulers that DJ's talked to that he brought up that says, no, it's the haulers that are ruining the roads. So,
but.
it depends on who you talk
Dave,
to.
You were at that meeting, but a big part of the problem is that it's not our ATV clubs that are doing it. It's the people from the cities coming up and doing it. And the ATV clubs and the loggers ain't talking. And when they sat down and talked that night, they were like, well, yeah, we'd love to see you guys.
How many
come."
loggers were there talking about it?
There were like 4 or 5 that were really talking.
We used to have
They
40
used to get a lot
loggers,
of them in, yeah.
and not one word was said back in the day. I mean, I'm just saying that if you make the mess, if you create the mess, which is generally the loggers, I can't believe there's that many people on logging roads on ATVs that are ripping them up.
But DJ and them guys even admitted to it.
Well, some roads, yeah.
Yeah.
They're really bad in my neighborhood, but
Then
anyway.
we've had, I mean, there's been some of the forest roads too that loggers or haulers have been on where they're not supposed to be and they're tearing them up. So I think it's a encompassing issue, but as you mentioned,
What was that?
funding for maintaining these roads can be acquired through ag funds and things like that as
Yep,
well.
yep.
So it's certainly something to look at.
It is.
Or, what do you
I-
call it?
Are you
Economic
finished with
development.
your brief?
Yes.
Are you done?
I'm done.
I have a question
Wham.
for the board. Hey, guys, with the ATVs, and it's a question that you guys should probably answer. When when there are trails on the side of the road, are ATVs allowed to drive on the hard surface still, or are they supposed to utilize the trails?
They're allowed to, there's nothing saying they can't be on the road
Right.
right away, or on the
A county
side.
road.
Right.
Or a township road, not the highway. They don't allow ATVs on a highway, on the 47, 65,
Yeah, the only problem
210.
with County 3 and County 5, those are high-speed.
But there's a
roads,
trail
And they have
on.
a trail, but they're not driving on them.
Well,
They're driving
then
on
they
the
should be
county road,
ticketed.
which is a safety issue, I think.
And-
But I don't know
Yep.
if there's any legality to
I don't,
drive on the trails.
I don't know that it's a legal issue. It can certainly be policed and they can be told, well, you need to stay on the trail, but I don't think there's any enforcement behind it.
If it's a grant and aid trail, they need to stay on the trail,
Should.
should stay on the trail.
But as we discussed at the last meeting, we do have some people, mostly probably not from around here, that are up on the shoulder of the road instead of a bumpier ditch.
And we do have landowners that are closing their roads.
Yeah,
They're closing their lands because people are leaving the trails and
Going
going
up
out
on the-
riding in
right.
their
And
hayfields
they're,
and
well,
stuff.
yeah.
Yep.
they do. Okay, oh, I just that was a question because I was driving down the other
crazy.
day and it had 10, 15 right on the hard surface and a beautiful trail right next to it.
And where's this? What county road?
That was 5.
County Road 5, yeah, the old 210,
County
or the
Road
old
3 is
2,
the same.
whatever
Yeah,
it is,
County Road 3 same way.
whatever that one.
All right, thank you, sorry about that.
Commissioners, administrator, anything else? Not, non-debatable motion to
To
adjourn.
adjourn.
Commissioner Levisco moves.
Second.
No. He can chime in anytime he wants. He's the main guy. Commissioner Western supports. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion's carried. This meeting is now adjourned.
Too busy on the computer.
Thank you.
All right, all right.
So